Here we go. Here we go. Here we go, man. Here we go. Here we go. Testing 1, 2, and 3. Testing 1, 2, and 3. Microphone check 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. Let's play this right here.
Yeah.
You know, like once you become a certain age and you realize your life ain't, you would do anything to try to and be in the spotlight. Look, good attention, bad attention is attention. People will take the bad attention to get some attention. This is her Super Bowl.
I see.
And that's why she up there.
I hear are negative.
Attention.
Shout out to Thoughts XII Media, by the way. Shout out to Thoughts XII Media, by the way. Just to let you know, this thing that people tripping over was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, man. 2 years ago.
So by now, I think you've seen the video of Corey Holcomb getting into an altercation in front of the Improv Comedy Club in Los Angeles. That video is over a year old, and Corey Holcomb has already addressed the situation.
Shout out to Thoughts XII Media, by the way, for being a real one. It was a lot of male content creators I seen fall for the okie doke. Shisha Zed, O'Shea Duke Jackson, many more to be named. We gonna get on these people, man. I'm taking notes. I'm going full Tom Segura mode. Remember when Will Smith got slapped? Chris Rock got slapped, and Tom Segura went on like Pat McAfee's show, and he's like, "Nah, I'm taking names of all the people that try to, you know, that said they were okay with Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. I'm going full Tom Segura mode. I was keeping notes. Shout out to LaKeisha Keisha for keeping it real. Shout out to her as well. We're gonna be showing her video as well. You know what I mean? So this is I was watching this all unfold. Do you know how many people I was getting texts from? Hey, well, what's up with your man Corey Holcomb? And I was like, bro, this happened 2 years ago. He talked about it on his show. And then you got these content creators. So I'm sorry. I don't want to put her let me see if I can put it on me real quick. No homo. Let me take this on me real quick. Do you know how many content creators I saw sharing that video? That edited video? I'm sitting there, I'm like, y'all falling for the meanest okie doke. Mind you, I remember when I watched the show with Corey Holcomb, I remember him specifically saying, look, I probably shouldn't even be saying this, but look, shit what led up to another. I muffed the, you know what? I muffed her, right? And people were in the live chat were like saying, like, Corey, you're already in court right now with this. Don't say anything to incriminate yourself, right? And I was like, oh, okay, but if everything that he describes, if it's already on footage and you're not lying, then he should be able to beat the case. Lo and behold, 2 weeks later, he comes in, gives us an update week by week, every other week. Oh yeah, the judge was laughing at, she laughed the case off, right? He said he had a female judge and she laughed the case off. So in California. So I remember when that happened in like what 2024 or I don't know, maybe it was the beginning of 2025. I don't remember. And shout out to Thoughts XII Media for finding that video, because I was not going to go through the archives to try to find that nonsense, because I think that was 2 years ago. But I thought everybody already knew about that situation. Silly me. All these people giving me texts. Hey, yo, what's up with your boy? People on Facebook, you see these men on there. Oh man, I don't respect Corey Holcomb no more. Look, I made the title the way it was for a reason. Jealous male content creators. And I'll say this. I thought Coach Greg Adams was being a little bit salty because he's been demonetized by certain groups of people. So he will talk about, the jealousy of male content creators or just men in general. But we gotta talk about this. We gotta really address this issue when it comes to jealousy amongst the male content creators, and the disdain that certain men will have for other men just because they have a certain opinion. And let's keep it a buck. I always say the same thing. Corey talks about everybody. He talks about everybody. He's not a person that's just going to hone in on one thing. He doesn't pull any punches. Now, for some people they take it very personal. And I always ask them this, because let me tell y'all something. So I'll be like, do you get mad at Corey Holcomb when he starts talking about short people? I mean, you know, he'll call them runts. He'll say that they should have been if you were born short. You was it Craig made a joke? He said if you were born short, that means you were really meant to be a woman or whatever. And people just laughing. I'm like, okay. Now imagine if I held that grudge and I used that against him. You guys would call me a biche. So whatever joke that Corey said about your particular group or your particular circumstances, you guys need to suck it up. And you guys got to stop acting like you're not offended by it, because clearly you are. Clearly are. You take it very personal. You take it personal that, you know, Corey might have been talking about your parents or your baby mama or your wife or whatever. But look, at the end of the day, he's a comedian. He says jokes. Because I saw people were playing that edited footage on their channel. I'm like, and these were like the same people that would use Corey's clips, and they would edit his videos to edit out the swear words to save their monetization, but they were willing to put an edited fight video, an alleged fight video, knowing that just even putting that edited video on their channel would mess up their monetization, but they didn't care. They didn't care then. That's how you know it's hate. That's how you know it's hate. There's no way. There's no other way to put it. But let's get right into it, because I don't know. I should have saved these whole ass niggas, man. Because I don't want to show my face, because Facebook, the men, the male simps were going in without knowing the background information. But I'll say this, I'll say this, I should have never given O'Shea Duke Jackson another chance. I should have never gave this snitch. I was like, in my honest opinion, where and by the way, these male content creators, where's the loyalty? Where is the benefit of the doubt to a pioneer, to like a legit a pioneer, one of the people that really been that's taken the bullets to speak the man's mind, to put the business out there. Where's the sense of loyalty? But they'll give, particularly the black male content creators, they'll give loyalty to Orange Man easy, to a politician, over like when allegations come out on Orange Man, they give Orange Man the benefit of the doubt. And I'm not trying to make it political, but I'm like, you're not gonna give Corey at least a couple of days, and for them not to be able to pick up, like, this is clearly a planned, coordinated attack against one of the real ones in the industry. It's beyond mind-boggling. Beyond mind-boggling. She said this whole boy. Oh yeah, I'm a fan of Corey Holcomb, but I don't condemn putting my hands on me. Man, y'all get your whole ass out of here, man. Dude, I remember, like, what? There's no loyalty. Oh, shout out to Laurette Hamilton. Yeah, you were one of the few. Shout out to Laurette Hamilton. This is what by the way, guys, this is like a day one, like a legit day one subscriber of my stuff. So shout out to Laurette Hamilton. So she says no loyalty, but economy in this make money cycle of the game is you're right. You're right. You know, at the end of the day, it's all economics. You're right about that. You're right about that. I be forgetting sometimes. In this economy, you're right. You're right. You got a point there. You got a point. And then on top of that, a lot of these content creators, they have wives, they have girlfriends, you know, they gotta make sure, you know, they gotta placate and all this stuff. But it was very interesting. Look, Lorette, watch this, Lorette. Watch this. When I first saw the video, because I just remember like it was like on Twitter in midnight. Like in the midnight, it was like in midnight or like 2 a.m. I saw the video for some reason. And I saw the leak. And then it was a repost or a share something. And then it was under The Amazing Lucas. I don't know if you guys know who The Amazing Lucas is. He's a liberal. Or he's left leaning. I'm not too educated on him. But from what I've seen, he's left leaning. And he saw it, and his comment under the video was, "Isn't this old news? This is like from 2 years ago." He said Corey Holcomb was talking about this 2 years ago, and I was like, "Yeah, same here." And I literally signed off. I was like, "Okay, whatever. I don't know where this leak came from." But then the next day, I wake up and it clearly it picked up traction. And I was like, "Oh man, people really falling for the okie doke." You should have seen the text I got. I was like, "Oh, y'all, dude, I had to even." Somebody in my group chat tried to be slick about it in one of my personal group chats. "Oh, Chris, what happened to Corey Holcomb?" And I had to tell him, I'm like, "Bro, this is old news. This is a mentally ill female comedian, someone whose reputation precedes her, who's been stalking Corey for God knows how long. She put her hands on Corey first, and Corey muffed her. He didn't punch her, he muffed her." Right. There's a huge difference. I had to tell people this. I had to get out my box a little bit. I was just like, "Nah, y'all not finna put that." And it was interesting how the chat basically ended there. And then they try to play off the joke. "Oh, Bernie Mac would never," and all that. I'm like, nah. You got caught trying to push something. They try to push that ish. Oh yeah, Corey's an abuser. Nah. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. And of course, when people are showing a video of a man putting their hands on a woman in any certain type of fashion, they're only going to show the part where the hands got put on her. They're not going to show the stuff leading up to her. They're not going to show her putting her hands on Corey. They're not going to show that. They're not going to show her yelling at him, antagonizing. They're not going to release any audio if there's any. They're not going to do that. They're just going to show the man putting their hands on him. That's what I always say when it comes to if you're arguing with a woman, or even especially in public, that's a lose-lose. You're just literally just supposed to just walk away, because people are just going to take that, and then you're just going to be a villain. Most people are afraid, particularly these so-called, male content creators. Most of them are afraid to even say, "Look, Kareem Hunt should have never been kicked off the Chiefs in the NFL." But there was a video of him kicking abroad, right? But she brought that upon herself. But because it was a female, particularly it was a white female, they were like, "Nah, we gotta kick you off." And they don't even take into account that she came in there drunk, talking ish, saying racist ish to him. And I always say this: people think it's about racism. No, it's not. Flip the gender. If it was a white dude that did the exact same thing that white woman did to Kareem Hunt at that party, and he got and he got kicked, right? This would have happened. The white dude would have probably tried to drop a lawsuit, but Kareem Hunt would have never gotten kicked off the team. All they would have done with that white dude, this what they would have done. He would have tried to drop a lawsuit. Then and then Kareem Hunt or the Chiefs, they would just look at that white dude's Twitter and see if he had some old racist tweets from the past, and he would have had to drop the loss. So that's what would have happened, and Kareem Hunt would have still been a Chief. He wouldn't have to have been released from the Chiefs. This is how the game works. But because it was a woman, you it don't matter what she's doing. You just can't put the hands on her. So that's what the simps are gonna see. That's what the normies are gonna see, and that's why the video was released the way it is. They're not gonna show the full interaction. They're gonna show you an edited version where, okay, Corey put his hands on her, even though he's already been to court for it, and there was no charges brought up. So it is what it is. Lord Hamilton says they ain't falling for it. Sheep are sheep. It was a lot. I know because there's a lot of people that aren't falling for it. But what I'm seeing right now, particularly today, I'm seeing a lot of backpedaling from certain content creators where they were full on like, oh no, I'm a fan of Corey Holcomb, but there's no excuse. Without even none of them even talked about the women. None of them even said, like, nobody even talked about Christina Payne and her history, who she is, what kind of person she is. They were just saying, there's no excuse. But people are starting to do their background research, and all it took was a day or two. All it took was a day, and people are starting to do their background research on her. People are finding out. People are now finding out that Corey Holcomb has already addressed this 2 years ago. Almost 2 years ago. I wish I can find the Amazing Lucas tweet. I can't believe y'all got me agreeing with this guy. But now I'm seeing a lot of backpedaling. That's what I'm seeing. So there's a lot of people that came in full blown, jumped the gun. I even hear some slick-ish. You'll hear some slick-ish from time to time from people. Oh man, this is not a good look for Corey. They're gonna say Corey don't like women. They already think that about Corey. Even before Anton Daniels came on his platform, they thought that about Corey. So they're always gonna think that. All the people that have a problem with Corey is women that have had too many abortions to count. They done sent so many souls to the gulag. And when Corey Holcomb starts making those abortion jokes, they feel a certain type of way. And the men that usually have a problem with Corey are down low, gay ninjas. I'm sorry. Or they probably said something about their hero, and they feel a certain type of way about it ever since. That's it. You can't convince me otherwise. Because I be seeing the people with the slickish. I'll be seeing her. But yeah, this weekend was so annoying. I cannot believe I saw people fall for it. But maybe it was my algorithm. Man, I remember somebody had tried to call in on the Star Show yesterday. Shout out to Star Reports though. Shout out to DJ Star. He wasn't buying it. DJ Star wasn't buying it. Did you all see Christina Payne's TMZ interview? I think what made people realize they made a mistake with the situation is they saw the TMZ interview from Christina Payne. That was probably one of the funniest interviews I've ever seen. She was trying so hard to muster up a tear. Her background, you can tell she's living in poverty. She's living in the slums of somewhere. Her smoke detector going off every 2 seconds. I mean, she couldn't even lie properly because she was so distracted by her environment. I think people saw that interview and people were like, maybe we jumped the gun. Maybe we jumped the gun on this. But I always say this. You content creators out there that jumped the gun, y'all couldn't wait 2 days? Or really 1 day, honestly. 1 day. Y'all couldn't wait 24 hours Hey, you men on Facebook, I saw simping heavy. Y'all couldn't wait a day. Even the dude, I didn't even see liberal dudes, like liberal men, comment on the situation. It was all these wannabe conservatives, male content creators that I saw, black manispherians, so-called black manispherians, and to talk crazy on one of the pioneers. No sense. Like I said, no sense of loyalty. Wow. I was just like, wow, man. Now, for the woman that fell for it, that's a whole other story. I'm not even like, if I saw, obviously plenty of women, they try to, whatever, they try to run with it, but they're always going to run with it, right? That's, but I saw even plenty of women that are like, well, let's wait a little bit. But they couldn't even wait 24 hours. Crazy work. Shout out to Garrett Grant in the chat. Laura Hamilton said Corey ain't got no amigos in the midst of the argument with Anton. The Coin Academy sat back and watched delay the fade to black, and sadly, D, the only one to rise to the occasion. And Craig, but Craig wasn't there though. Craig wasn't there at the Anton thing. But watch this. This is how my logic works right here. After I saw the amazing Lucas do the repost, and I basically went to sleep right after that. And then when I saw it pick up traction, I was like, oh, Anton Daniels got people that he know. He got people. He has some reach. So I was like, okay, Anton Daniels, he's an agent. Because the traction that video picked up, even though Corey had talked about it years ago, people saying it was last year, but I'm pretty sure it was 2024. But anyways, when I saw the traction it picked up, I was like, yep, Anton's an agent. We have agents in this space. Straight up agents. Scam artists. What we call these people? Paid ops, right? Or what do we call? There's a term for these type of people. I'm blanking on it. I'm blanking on the term. Are they called paid opposition? I'm blanking on the term. I've talked about it on this on this channel before. But we got these people in our space, man. So we got to put in particularly the black male content creators on blast. Especially, and I'm not even going to limit it to this video. I'm going to expand this to particularly the men in the male content space that was trying to make a big deal over the particularly the show when Corey Holcomb was saying like, hey, put the what do you say? Put the daughter on the screen. But people was like, you called a daughter ugly. Nah, no. He was talking about Anton. He gave Anton a black pill. That's all it was. That's all. Well, Corey Holcomb be talking about women, and then he put his hands on the women. That's what I was seeing all weekend long. I was just sitting there on Facebook, maybe because I was on Facebook too much. Maybe that was my problem. And then seeing certain YouTube male content creators, especially that hoe ass nigga Shisha Zed. Crisis like these reveals people's values. This the same dude that's hustling prenups. Same dude that's hustling prenups. What kind of man? What kind of people do we have here, man? Sign up here now for your free consultation for because Shisha said he kind of sound like low key. He kind of got that Boyce Watkins thing going on with his voice. You know, it kind of sounds like this. You got to sound like this to sound professional. And like, man, get your whole ass out of here, man. Dude got a little bit of YouTube money. Just a little bit of YouTube money. Started acting unusual. But anyways, let's put it back. Shout out to Fawcett Media. Let me put him on real quick. One of the real fans out there. Because I thought I was going to have to put all of this together, and he did it. I was like, thank you. Now, I'll say this. I didn't watch the full Fawcett Media video. I've only watched the first, 5 minutes, but I already watched enough to know that Fawcett Media did his research, because those first 2 episodes that he's going to show from Corey Holcomb talking about the situation, I was like, oh, okay, he did his research, because it was like for 5 to 6 weeks, Corey Holcomb was talking about that incident that happened. And he even admitted himself, look, I fucked up. I muffed the bitch. I didn't punch her. I muffed her. Right? And I remember people in the chat were just like, no, Corey, don't say nothing. He's like, don't worry about it. The judge got me. Don't worry. She's been looking. I'm good. And I'll even show you some more information on that situation. Let me share the screen real quick. Here we go. Shout out to Fawcett Media.
Old and Corey Holcomb. So by now, I think you've seen the video of Corey Holcomb getting into an altercation in front of the Improv Comedy Club in Los Angeles. That video is over a year old, and Corey Holcomb has already addressed the situation.
Shout out to Garrett Grant in the chat.
At length on his own show.
So a girl was stalking me, like looking for a way to turn me into a lick, some money. A dope fiend who's not smart. I'm gonna prove it. It was a few occasions where the girl tried me, yelling at me at the top of her lungs in front of clubs and everything. And what happened was, after I had enough, after several occasions of her trying to jump it off with me, and I know how she moved, I got her record from DC. She used to
shout out to Pyro in the chat.
Live in DC, and I got her drug charge and everything in DC. And I told the comedy club, this girl sell drugs in front of your club, and she's drama. I told them that. So look, fast forward to the girl in my face. Fuck you, your mama ain't shit. You should have died when you fell off the scooter. Your dick ain't shit. All this shit.
And so I was just like, Corey, you're not gonna do nothing. Even people were like talking to him like, Corey.
So this video from Christina Payne, that was from last year as well, mind you. I saw a lot of people sharing this video too. I'm like, this video from last year. And here she's bragging to Tasha K, talking crazy about Corey's personal life, which is wild work when you think about it. Oh, let me change the speed of this. Here we go.
You ain't about to let her hype you up and woo woo woo. And then I was like, Corey, you didn't learn already from the last time? And he was like, what you talking about? I was like, you don't remember the last time you said you were going to super sock me and you didn't see what God did to you then? And I was like, and then I did the I want to be down Brandy dance in his face again. I said, you don't remember when
I would have paid anything to see this go down between you and him.
All like this. I went like this. And then I was
like this, yeah. And he,
so okay. I was like, you don't remember both of your wrists getting broke when you said you was going to slap the super sock the shit out of me? I was like, God didn't tell you I was one of his favorites? He didn't tell you to leave me alone? I said, please believe you keep this up and it's only going to get worse for you. I promise you that.
Yelling in my face, right? All this shit in front of the club.
That's what all project girls be saying, that same ish, mind you. All project girls, they always do that. I'm one of God's favorites and blah, 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 blah. And they're literally living in like awful circumstances, right? So that's just typical project girl stuff right there.
When I show up, this is what she do. Witnesses gonna prove it. That's why I let them talk, because she piled up a lot of evidence against herself. Of course, we was down there. She was with her little boyfriend, nigga. We was like, man, get your bitch on me. Please get your bitch. We got the video of him trying to grab the and her jerking away because this nigga ain't had no power around him. There's also a video that's gonna be seen where the homegirl stood in between us because it got real intense at one moment. But I'm gonna say the homegirl name. The homegirl name is Trina. Yeah, because Trina, you part of it. I hate you part of it. I had to grab Trina and put Trina to the side and say.
And he ended up doing the episode with Trina, I think 2 weeks later, and a week later on the podcast. So she came in and confirmed the situation.
Don't get involved in this. So I'm steady yelling, you die nigga, you should have died on that scooter, all that. So I muffed I walked up to the.
So right here, this is where this is where the chat kind of went crazy. I'll never forget it when Corey said, they were like, no, Corey, don't say nothing. They're going to play this in court. So let me slow it down so you guys can hear it properly. Right here, this part.
You should have died on that scooter, all that. So I muffed I walked up to the. Shut the fuck up. That's what we call it in Chicago when you push a bitch in the head. I muffed the bitch. Look, if I go to jail, because that's an assault. I found out if you do this to somebody, that's an assault. If I go to jail for assault, I ain't scared to go to jail for assault. I don't have a criminal history of walking around fighting all the time and shit like that. Hey, the stalked me and kept talking crazy to me, and I can prove it. I got witnesses. The reason I'm telling y'all all this, because I want everybody to know what's really going on right now.
You know, the framing of this incident now has changed, and the timing of this couldn't be worse because of.
Exactly. Because of the Anton situation. Because of everything else going on. Because of because of what Corey said about his family. And this is how I know this is all Anton. Even though it's pretty obvious, just off the timing of it, this is clearly Anton, and his handlers are behind this, right? This is how you know. Anton was the one talking about lawsuit this, lawsuit that, and then this pops up. That means there was no case. Remember, there was even certain people in the chat, they thought that him talking saying his daughter was ugly was going to be a case. I'm like, nah, there's no case there, really. If there is, I'd be shocked. But now this pops up, even though Corey's already been to court for this and beat this case. So this is what people do so they can get cases. So they just start throwing stuff at you. This is they do. First of all, they do this to male athletes all the time. So this is a classic, tactic that even the liberals know about this. So this is where, when I was seeing people fall for this on, Facebook, maybe I shouldn't have been on Facebook too much. Twitter and all these things. So for the people to still fall for this, fall for the yoki doke in 2026, mind you, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, you always got to question the timing. You always got to question the timing of it. They low-key try to Ray Rice Corey Holcomb right there.
Other things that have happened in the past week, we've talked about them too. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Corey Holcomb is trying to buy NBC. He's trying to buy ABC and people are out to get him. But it's obvious that Corey has made some people angry with possibly his content, possibly
some people angry. He's made, look, unfortunately, real ninjas like Corey, he doesn't have any real friends, to be quite honest. Hey, man. I keep telling you, them abortion jokes, that's what really be having him hemmed up. I say the same thing, I don't want to compare the two, obviously. I don't want to compare the two because I'm not even a fan of Nick Fuentes like that. People already know this, people that watch my channel. I think he's a paid op, right? But the reason why he gets hate is not because of racism. That's cap. It's because of what his opinions on women in general. And then on top of that, what's the two things that they say about him? That he's possibly gay, and what's the other thing? And that he's a virgin, right? And these things that they try to attach to him, they're really mad at him because they can't really go through his past to see if there's any woman that could say something bad about him. So this is why somebody like a Fuentes basically walks around with a lot of leverage, because there's no women in his past or his front or future that is a liability to where it can hem up whatever message he's trying to push. Now, mind you, I don't like Nick Fuentes really at all, to be quite honest with you. But these are what I'm saying is facts. That's the reason why women don't like him, is because of what he says about women. So when you say certain things, when you say there's certain things that you say that are always going to get people tight about you. For Corey Holcomb is with the women, but not necessarily what he says about women, but particularly what he talks about abortions. And for the men get tight at him because he's been revealing about, the fluffy rainbow stuff that's been going on in the industry for a while, and a lot of people's, favorite, stars, he'll talk about them being potentially fluffy. And how he said most of his hate is not necessarily from the rainbow people, but from the down low people. It is what it is. That's why Corey's always gonna get hate. It is what it is. He said, yeah, Pyro said a lot of normies. You mean, yeah, I was really mad at the normies, but I saw a lot of male content creators that I would have even thought jump into conclusions, and I was so pissed. I'm telling you, I was so pissed. I was people you should have seen so Mr. For Your Sister, you should have seen the messages I got from people, and I had to set them straight. I was like, nope. And I'll say this, unfortunately, even the people that know me that sent me the story out of goodwill, I was like, I had to literally message some of them like, oh no, that's old news. And they're like, oh yeah, I already know. I'm like, oh, my bad. But there was certain people, I'm talking about people that knew me personally that try to send me this stuff out of bad will because they know I have praise for Corey Holcomb. I'm like, y'all, wow. And look, even if it would, say if it was even a random footage of just a broad getting hit, who's to say that she didn't have it coming? Okay, Mr. For Your Sister says the most I can see is emotional distress, and that is a stretch, but I do not think he would want to put his daughter in the discovery process. Oh, let me talk about that as well. So there's a female content creator that I've been tracking for a little while, and she's been popping up on my algorithm because I've already looked at her channel before. And apparently she's saying that she's saying that, remember when I had the theory, or most of us in this chat, right? We were saying that, oh, Anton Daniels was lying about his daughter, having to leave school and etc. and blah, blah, blah. So Lakeisha, apparently she's saying that actually the daughter did have to leave school or something like that, but it's not because of what Corey Holcomb said in terms of her being ugly. They're saying there are people, and it's not only her, but there's people out there that are saying the reason why the daughter crashed out was because she found out about Mika. So I might have to show you that video as well. So that's very interesting. That's very interesting. So this is why that other video came out, because Anton Daniel tried to pin it on Corey, but really the reason why his daughter crashed out was because of Mika, which is crazy work when you think about it, to use your own daughter's trauma and flip it and make it seem like Corey did something to you. And Anton flipped out again, and he was calling Corey a snitch. On another stream he did, he was calling Corey a snitch for talking about Mika and all this stuff. I was like, oh, that information might be right. Yep. Gold 7, shout out to him. He said, man, was hating, peace. He said, what's happening? My bad. He said, man, what's happening? Peace to everyone. Shout out to the Gold Professor, I guess. Gold Professor 7, right? He said, "Good." He said, "Keep up the good, fair content, King." Shout out to Aaron Hughes. Thank you, man. Thank you for that. But I'll say this: people were really pissing me off this weekend. Really pissing me off with this. It's imagine, because you gotta look at it in my shoes. Imagine you're a 5150 fan like myself. I've watched basically every episode since 2017, 2016. Like basically watched every single episode since then. And you see some leaked, edited video footage, and you're like, and the first thing I'm saying, I'm like, Corey already talked about this. So much so, the first post I see of somebody reposting it is of a liberal. His name is The Amazing Lucas. I think he's a liberal. He says this is old news too. I was like, oh, I'm glad we're on the same page for once. I'm like, okay, so right-leaning person like myself and a left-leaning person like Amazing Lucas, we both agree on some nonsense. I'm like, oh, case closed. And then just to see the average black male content creators flipping on Corey without getting the full information. You know, I was, man. Aaron Hughes said, "I love to see Anton say something about you. That would be some content." Man, I'd fight Anton. What? Please. Anton is the type of dude, like, he's a very slappable, punchable type of person. And have you seen what he's trying to kick up dust now with Kwame Brown? And Kwame Brown said nothing bad about him. Kwame Brown was trying to be neutral. And he's trying to talk dust. He's trying to kick up dust with Kwame Brown now. It's so clear Anton's an agent. He's got handlers. Man. Mr. For Your Sister says, I would think it would be worse for her to know her dad is cheating on his mom. That is way worse. That's why she crashed out. I'm starting to believe it, because when I saw that stream, there was another stream of Anton. Corey's a snitch, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh. I'm like, Lakeisha might be right on this. One of the few times I'm gonna agree with the Lakeisha. You know, he said, people know me in the space as Gold P. Hold on, let me put the link of your channel in the chat. Maybe I'm blanking on who you are, because I'm pretty sure maybe if you have a channel, maybe I'd recognize it. Reaper's in the building. Shout out to Reaper. Mr. For Your Sister says, didn't you see what LLTV did on Anton? That MAGA money pays quite well. Oh yeah. Also, like I said, the small hat community was giving stipends to people on the right for them to talk good, or to not talk bad on that country in the Middle East, right? So the right, the conservative right has been compromised. I'm gonna have to say it here. I gotta keep it a buck with you. The right has been compromised, and it sucks that the conservative right, the Republicans, has been compromised, because here I am on this channel. I've been trying to encourage, particularly young black men, young men alike, to vote. I used to just tell dudes, just vote Republican, just for the hell of it. Just do it. Just do it out of spite. just do it out of spite, right? Because I don't like it when people feel like they can own your vote. And I just didn't like how particularly black men were basically forced to vote liberal, because their women browbeat them into voting liberal, right? So I'm sitting here, I've been trying to convince people to, think outside the box, vote for yourself, vote for your own self-interest. And here you got the right. It's compromised. I already know that the right is compromised, but I'm like, how am I supposed to convince people like myself, people that are not even political, to even go out and vote? How am I even supposed to do that? How am I supposed to? How? you got this nonsense going on, when you're finding out people like, even you'll see the mainstream people like what's his name, Clay Travis. I hope I'm getting his name right. I hope I'm getting his name right. What's that guy's name? Who's really funny too. I find him funny at times. What's his name? Clay Travis? Is that his name? Yeah, you'll see guys like Clay Travis doing commercials, holding up the small hat country's flag and all this, and you're just like, these people have been compromised. And then on top of that, you'll have black male content creators. It's not that they're completely conservative, but they're just selling completely out. So I'm talking about selling out completely, to the point they're willing to take money from the opposition so you can just to repeat their talking points, and you're willing to take money from these people. Like that, this is not, come on, man. How am I supposed to convince the young men that are looking at this, that are apolitical, that don't really believe in it, like myself, and they're looking at the right and they're doing the same thing that the liberals are doing? And I'll say this, the liberals are smart on this front. They're willing to sacrifice their own politicians, right? For the sacrifice their people for their own agenda. So they knew that, I guess there must have been people that knew. I think the liberals started to pick up on the right side, right? The Republicans not being as aggressive about the Big Jeff's lists, right? And they just started capitalizing off of it. And now we're starting to see the nonsense. Now we're starting to see on Twitter, Elon Musk does the location thing, and we're finding out a lot of these so-called MAGA accounts are bots, and people from India and Nigeria and all these. The right is getting cooked right now. So this is not a good look. Shout out to Reaper Rell in the chat. He said, any evidence that the daughter crashed out? I'm just going off of, I'm using my context clues for that one. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Shout out to Aaron Hughes for the $20 super chat. So you guys already know, you already know what time it is.
Donations. 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 Gifts. 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 More gifts. More gifts.
Shout out to Aaron Hughes 727 with the $20 super chat. He said he had Kwame and others pages flagged. So damn, he even took what? Okay, let me start it over again. I'm shocked at what you just put out there. Wow. Okay. He said he had Kwame and others pages flagged. Kwame shut him down. Mika signed an NDA. Okay, I know about that. And he said ABD all in his platform. That's interesting. He got Kwame Brown's page flagged. You said in others too. You know what? All Anton Daniels had to do was, he really didn't, like, he's really self-destructing. He's really self-destructing, man. Because even with the Corey situation, he picked up an enemy right there in Kwame Brown off just off of him just talking crazy. Like, he didn't even have to do anything else. But it's confirmed Anton Daniels is an agent, and he has handlers. It's confirmed. That's that's not even a debate anymore. Oh, by the way, guys, what I was gonna do? I was scheduled to go to New York City tonight to see somebody on an assignment, right? I was going to go in there, and then on my way to the venue, I was gonna do the live stream there, but things came up things got canceled, so that ended up not happening. So that's why I'm glad I'm able to do this live stream right now. But I was gonna go on a full rant, like I was gonna go full ticket TV. I was gonna go full ticket TV when he be defending Kyrie Irving. Oh man, Ticket TV sometimes do some things too where I'm like, bruh, come on. But you know, shout out to Ticket TV because I've been subscribed to Ticket TV for way too long, so I got to show some loyalty there. Reaperell says Clay Travis is a clown. Yeah, he'll do some things from time to time, which is kind of funny. But when I saw him with that flag, and y'all know what flag I'm talking about, when he's supposed to be where we're supposed to be trying to put American interests first. I thought that's what the conservatives were about, but nope. Nope. Aaron Hughes 727 says Anton thinks he's protected from the many aspects. Charleston White supports Dogface support him helping over 30 black people with startup business, CCW, his security, and family from Detroit. Well, that's the way Anton acts. It makes sense now because he acts like somebody that has handlers. He acts like somebody that has people on the inside. That's how he was able to get that video, that edited video leaked out to the normies. He said, not the Umar. Oh, you saw? My bad, man. Yeah, that's my favorite. I think I could really do. Also, yeah, Aaron Hughes said so. He said Kwame Brown said that he got flagged. Okay, yeah, because I know Kwame Brown not lying about that. He said not Umar meme. I'm pretty sure I can do like a whole sound bites, just straight Dr. Umar stuff, and I'll be fine. I don't need no other sound bites but his. He's got some real funny sound bites, man. I got okay, this is a Dr. Umar soundbite that I know most people don't have right here. I'm about to show you.
Facts.
Yeah, not many people have that soundbite right there. That one right there, not many have that. I'm telling y'all this right now. Only like the real like pro blacks got that soundbite. So Aaron Hughes 727, he says that would be a great move. Ticket TV and you need to start being on other people's platforms and build your brand, joining live chats. I'll say this. Let me be honest with you. So I've done collaborations with 2 people on YouTube. 2. That's AJ Rants and Reactions, and Undead Chronic. Now, those 2 people might not be everybody's cup of tea, particularly if you're talking about Undead Chronic. But the people, when it comes to going on other people's platform, I gotta sometimes I might have to relax. Right? I gotta oh wait, hold on. I saw something, but sometimes I gotta relax in terms of just going on people's platforms because I don't want to infringe, because I have my own opinions on things. There's a lot of things that Ticket TV talks about I do not agree with, but I've been subscribed to Ticket TV since I was in high school. But like, remember when Ticket TV used to do like those videos? It would just be a black screen. It was just, he would not put his face on it, and it was just him talking about Stephen A. Snitch. Like, that's how long I've been subscribed to Ticket TV. Like, since you're talking about 2012, I've been subscribed to Ticket TV. So it's a sense of loyalty there. So even if I disagree with Ticket TV on a lot of things, I'll just be like, right. And I disagree with Ticket on a lot of things. So, but out of loyalty, I'll just be like, right? Let me see, Gold P. But there are certain people's platforms I do gotta go on, but I don't want to infringe. I don't want to infringe. I like it when I get the opportunity to go on AJ's platform because he's very open about letting people in on his platform, but I don't want to take advantage of it, right? I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you when it comes to AJ's platform. Every time AJ goes on live, there's like a couple of people on there. They're on the they're on his panel all the time. I'm like, y'all ain't got nothing else to do. You know what I mean? I'm like, y'all ain't got nothing else. And then there's this one dude that's on the platform. He sounds gay. I don't want to say his name. They take advantage of AJ's generosity. Cause you know, he'll just have the open platform and and he'll just let these people on there, and I feel like people take advantage. You know, he said Gold 7. He said, I sent you my channel, but I think someone or YouTube removed it. Oh yeah, because when you send like links, sometimes it might get flagged for some reason. I don't know why. Let me look at the live chat real quick. I'm gonna look at the live chat and I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. Let me look at my live chat real quick. Okay. Let's see. Mr. For Your Sister. I'm looking at Mr. For Your Sisters. One of his chats said there are black male Karens, but mostly they are in jail. Oh man. I don't see the link on the live chat when I pulled it up, but let me you might just have to just put just the name of the channel. Like the ad. What's the ad of it? And then I'll copy and paste that. Oh man. Oh man. Nah, no. So okay. He said, Aaron Hughes 727 says, yes, you do have your own opinion, but you know how to trust them in a professional way. Example, the way you broke this Anton and Corey Holcomb thing down. Actually, you and Kwame break down fairly. Yeah, like I said, shout out to Kwame Brown, man. Kwame Brown, that's one of the funniest dudes. Anytime he's talking ish, when Kwame Brown starts scolding people, that is the funniest thing, man. I don't know if it's his voice. I don't like it's just funny, man. I live to see like Kwame Brown roasting people. And Kwame Brown has a special respect in my heart because I thought of him a certain way before I found out he had a YouTube channel, and I had to apologize. I was like, look, I was very wrong about you. I was a normie. I fell for the propaganda. You a real ninja, man. So Kwame Brown will always have respect for me. Always. And it's sad that it took him having to really get out of his character and having to put people in his place for me to, you know. But shout out to Kwame Brown, man. His podcast, I love it. Anytime I get the chance, I'll watch a couple of videos here and there. I don't watch the live streams as much as I did like in 2022 or 2021 when he went viral. But Kwame Brown, and on top of that, the industry titans that he was calling out, he had people shaking in their boots. He even had Corey. Corey had to tell him like, yo, Kwame Brown, yo, chill. I was like, there's no way you telling. I'm like, there's no way Corey Holcomb got to tell you to chill. That means you on the right path. I was like, salute. I just remember Kwame Brown doing a podcast one day on the live stream. He's like, Charlemagne the God got so much reach. He said, even this funny nigga I know was telling me, hey, yo, I'm like, don't tell me he's talking about Corey Holcomb. I see Corey Holcomb the next day on Tuesday. He's like, look, Kwame Brown, I know you're doing some real ish, but yo, chill. I was like, no way. I was like, I took my hat off. He said, sounds gay. Now I really want to go. No. There's this guy. No. Don't do that. Because once you hear one of the guests on AJ's channel, you'll know who it is. But so I don't want to even let's not do that. Let's not do that. Because I don't want to put him on blast. But shout out to AJ Rants and Reacts. I really love his channel. Right. You know, it's a peaceful channel, mind you. It's a peaceful channel. So I don't want to. That's a place of, you know, men coming together and, you know, pause and just, you know, shooting the ish and then talking about real ninja things. Right. Let me see. Pyro said, Chris, I used to be on AJ's stream and in the chat room with him a lot, but I kind of feel bad because I end up over talking him. He says, he said, I just had to listen to him, not like he had a problem with me. No, AJ's one of the nicest dudes, right? That's why he'll be letting people on, right? But I feel like if I go, I feel the same way because I used to be on the thing, you know, anytime that I could, every other day or something like that for like the first couple of weeks. But I was like, I think I'm on there too much. That was me. I was like, I think I'm doing this a little bit too much, right? I felt like I was doing too much. So I'm like, let me not do that, right? But yeah, AJ's very, very generous with his platform, right? I'm not look at me, I'm not that generous. I'll just be like, I'll open up the panel from time to time, right? He opens up the panel every single live stream, right? Yeah, but yeah, this is one dude on there though, where because when people hear his voice, they're gonna be like, bruh. There's just one dude that be joining. He's on every time I click on, he's on there. I'm like, oh Lord. Because when people hear him, I'm afraid that people are gonna be like, if people hear that guest, people are gonna be like, who's this fluffy ninja you got on the panel? Right. He said, Rao, grown man ish, real talk, respect king. Yeah, Kwame Brown's that dude. I got massive respect for Kwame Brown. Anyways, let me go back to Fawcett.
His influence, right? And they want to paint him in a negative light. And some people that are involved, namely the female comedian, Christina Payne, they're making claims now that are misrepresenting what actually happened. What are you going to do now?
So look at this. You go see this TMZ video with Christina Payne. This is going to be one of the funniest clips you've seen. I don't know if this does he show the full clip? I might have to pull up the full TMZ clip for you guys. But this is where I think people are going to realize, like people started realizing they made a mistake. Watch this. Christina Payne. Let's look at this full video from Christina Payne trying to paint Corey Holcomb as a villain, right? The alleged woman in this viral video. And she's going to, her actions, her environment is going to basically make her case null and void.
Christina, you went to the police back when this happened, filed a police report. It went nowhere. What are you going to do now that there is a video that seems to support at least the fact that you were punched by Corey?
It is hard even seeing that right now.
And her background is going crazy right now. This is because clearly right now, if you look at Christina, she's clearly living in, yeah. It looks like when I saw just her background, I'm like, yeah, Corey Holcomb was right about her. Good Lord. Oh, just saw something real quick. Shout out to Gold 7 with the $5 super chat.
Donations, 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 gifts, 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 more gifts, more gifts.
Man, shout out to Gold P7. I think Gold Professor 7, right? He says, money for the plate. Keep winning, brother, man. If you want to find me, I'm the God Gold P. Okay. Let me, out of respect, let me see. The God Gold P. I don't know if this is the right. I might, because they're not letting me copy and paste. Let's give Gold Professor the benefit of the doubt. We'll go on my channel. I'm gonna do some copy and pasting. let's let's see the God Gold P. Because sometimes if you put links, nothing will pop up. Oh, I see. Okay, I see your channel. Oh, okay. So he got 2.7 thousand subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. So clearly he's putting on some stuff on here. Okay. Interesting. Let me subscribe. So right here, I'm gonna subscribe. He said this is a men's channel. Respect is always first. I'm gonna give you a subscribe. So shout out to, yeah. There's no way I'd be able to just search this up. So let's put this at in the chat. I'm not gonna be able to pin it, obviously, right now. Here we go, but I'll put that in the chat. Shout out to Gold 7, but I'm pretty sure people can see. I'm pretty sure if people have their mobile devices, they could literally just click your profile and your channel should be able to pop up right then and there.
Seeing that playback and having to relive all of this all over again. But it's like,
I don't even think I read the chat. He said, money for the plate. Keep winning, brother, man. If you want to find me, I'm the God Gold P. Okay, my bad.
I was like, what?
I mean, what I'm asking is, are you going to pursue legal action again? The cops felt it was like a stalemate when it happened because they had no video. Now they got video. So I'm wondering, are you over it, or are you going to pursue this in court?
And if she was really honest, you got to be honest about what happened when you went to court with it last time. Nothing, because there was no case there. This is where she's going to try to cry.
I feel like
she's trying so hard to get these tears to come out, bro.
it's
What's what's making this so difficult, Christina?
She's trying so hard. I'm telling you, when people saw that video, I think people are like, "Oh, I think we backed the wrong horse here." I'm telling you. Shout out to Pyro with this chat. He said, "Which one you're talking about? Nah, you don't need to figure out. I don't want you to say anything." We're gonna keep AJ's space respectful. We're gonna keep it respectful, right? Yep, he said that smoke alarm told us everything we need to know about her. Facts. Yeah, she was trying so hard to get that tear out. B. Watkins, man, shout out to this brother here. Shout out to the Warband members. Like I said, there's a lot more. There's a couple of people that I found too. Yeah, man, off the Warband. Shout out to y'all, man. Oh man. Yeah, he said allegedly Corey said she was using drugs and selling drugs in front of a lot of comedy clubs in Chicago. Yeah, he was saying that about her for a long time. But when people see this, when people see that video and then they look at the environment, they look at her clearly trying to milk a situation, they're like, oh, where you basically make Corey Holcomb look like a prophet. Right? Where basically even his biggest haters are gonna be like, shit, we can't use this woman is a terrible, like, She got no case here.
To go forward with it.
I feel like Corey's like threatened or tried to silence me, or like where it's like I've been in fear for my life, literally. Not able to leave the house sometimes, and so I
know you say you're
her smoke detector is basically a lie detector at this point. Every time she talked, that thing went off. Lorette Hamilton shout out to her. She said Christina got like 5 roommates living in expensive Los Angeles. Oh man. Yep, that's the smoke detector going off at her spot. Yep.
in fear for your life. We mentioned the fact that he got a restraining order against you.
We have a restraining order against each other.
And you have one against him as well.
Well, he had one on you first, ma'am. And then you were able to put the restraining order on him because he muffed you that one time. I'm talking about, because the problem is when you put a restraining order on a female stalker, it doesn't do anything. Like you put a restraining order on a broad, that doesn't do anything. So now if you retaliate off of her still continuing to stalk you after you went the legal route, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. They're just gonna be like, oh, you did something to her. If there's any footage of you being even aggressive towards her, you're gonna be looked at as the bad guy.
Since
because
then,
he brought the liars to court and confused the judge, and we didn't have the video yet. So we literally got the video the day after court, literally. So I never went back to pursue like, oh, let me get an appeal or nothing like that. Like my attorney literally kind of gave up after she was getting defamed in her character and everything. You can see.
We already know Corey's unfortunately told us all the details on his show. So all these people that be talking about Corey's a liar, everything that she said right here is basically what Corey said. Where the lawyer basically, her and the lawyer basically ran out of court because there was no case.
On his how horrible he would speak about me and her, and literally it's horrible, like the way he treats women, the way he talks about us, and then to the point where it's like, really, like you're gonna hit me because I'm telling you about God, and like you need to change your ways, and you know.
Nah. Remember, you was on Tasha K's show. Remember, you was on Tasha K's show talking that ish, gleaming, talking crazy about his injuries when he fell off that scooter and all that. What happened to the energy? Now you're talking about, oh man, I was talking about God. You were actually bringing up God's name in vain. Don't switch up now. I was just talking about God. Oh wow, this is crazy. When you really look at this is really crazy when you look at this, man. Gold Professor says, right, people hopped on Corey because he mushed her in the face, but listening to her and that smoke alarm said, man, we don't care. Hey, I'll say the shout out to Star, because he covers, like, shout out to, like, he'll cover every story. Even if he's a fan of you, he'll cover everything that comes out, fan or not. And Star saw the video and he still was on Corey's side. He was like, look, like you could tell Star wasn't buying it. Star was like, look, there are people like Christina Paynes of the world. They talk themselves into getting mushed. So if you guys don't get the chance, watch Star and his reaction to when the video leaked. And you're gonna see me go like you probably gonna see me in the live chat going ham. I was going basically I was acting a little bit out of character in the chat. Right. So please forgive me if you see me in that live chat replay with the star video. Because there was this one Hispanic girl, this so-called defense attorney. She was hoping to God that Corey Holcomb was guilty. And I had some choice words. You know, I could have referred to her allegedly. I may have referred to potentially calling ICE on her, but that was just a side comment. Nothing to be taken seriously. I was just joking, man. I was just joking. I swear, I was joking. Oh man. He said, but listening to her in that smoke alarm, yeah, that smoke. Every time that smoke alarm went off, it was basically like a lie detector. You cannot trust no lady that come from an environment like that. There's no way. Aaron Hughes 727 says, I really pray that she get off them drugs and get her life back together and try to be a comedian again. Well, women like that, they're not professionals. So they'll claim that profession, right? So she'll say she's a comedian, but really she probably screwed somebody to get on when she was younger. Because when she was younger, she was able to use her light skin powers to get certain things. But the older you get and the dustier you get and the more people see how you really are, dealing drugs and do all that might be cute when you a light skinned bitch at age 22 or 23, whatever, right? 28. When you're young and you're doing that nonsense, that might be cute when you're a woman, but once you're older and people just start seeing you for who you are, those favors stop. You got to start being a person of value, of substance. You got to be able to offer something, a platform, something to leverage to where people are like, okay, you have something going on, right? But you could tell this was a woman that just got her way, was able to do whatever she wanted, even, commit crimes in front of people because she was light skinned and she probably had a little bit of a body back then. That's all it takes. It doesn't take much for a woman like her. I'm pretty sure let me see if we might be able to find like a younger photo of Christina Payne, like 20 years ago. And she probably looked half decent. And that's all it takes. Oh, I'm a comedian. With Mika, I'm a singer. Nah, you're just a piece of ass. You're a piece of meat. That's all you are. Right? You out for nothing. There ain't nothing to get back together with her. That bitch ain't no comedian. She a groupie. What did that dude say in that pimp movie? He said, "You ain't a pimp, you a car thief." You a car thief. I forgot what movie that was. He said, "You a rest haven for hoes." He said the car you got outside is hotter than a firecracker right now. I forgot what movie that is. Oh yeah, of course. Tasha K wanted Corey to be guilty as well because they got beef, but she knew that the stuff that she was putting on Corey in that interview right here. Let me see if I can bring up that tab again. In that interview, Tasha K, she's smart enough. She knows she made a mistake bringing her on. She knows that. She know you bring somebody like that on, you're ruining your own credibility. She knows she made a mistake. Oh, he's at Ice for real. Yeah, I saw because it was a Hispanic lady, and I know what kind of Hispanic lady. She said she was 39 years old, with a son, and she a DA. I'm like, oh, I already know what type of chick this is. Man, I was going in that live chat. I said, don't. He said that was the Mac. Yeah, that was the Mac. That's what the movie's called. Yeah, you're right. You know the rules of the game. Your bitch just chose me. And we can do this the easy way. What do you? I forgot what he said. He said, "Well, we can do some gangster-ish." But the beginning of it was funny. Hey, bitch, come here. You at your motherfucking Mac? Come here. You a car thief. Those movies were freaking gold, man. The clips are gold, right? But yeah, the Mac, that's what the movie is called. Or I would have sworn it was called like Goldie, but that sounds about right. The Mac. I'm gonna trust you. I'm gonna trust you guys. I'm way younger, so I don't know. Anton is a weak coward, and he is, But like I said, even weak cowards, they have handlers, they have agents, agencies. When their asset is taking a hit in the public sphere, they're able to pull some strings, here and there. But Anton is, over time, he's losing value. He's losing some value, I cannot believe the swap list. I never knew Anton. I would have never thought Anton was going to be like off rip. He was going to prove me right. I wouldn't even have thought he was going to be the first person on my list to prove me right. I would have never thought it was going to be Anton. I thought with Anton, it was just going to take a little bit of time, probably a year or two. Probably like literally, I was like, man, give it a year or two, right? Goldie, yeah. So Goldie was the main character's name. Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. They said, B. Watson says, I rarely, if ever, find a woman funny. Only one has ever gotten a laugh out of me is Haley Bailey, I think her name is, because she jokes about women's love for billionaire chads. Is she a new comic? Like I said, the only female comic that has ever gotten a chuckle out of me was some more. That's probably the only one. And then Roseanne Barr, she's not a funny comic, but she said one thing that was funny one time that I had to give her props. But outside of some more, ain't no funny female comics out there. And then like somebody will recommend me a comic, and then it's somebody that's cute. And I'm like, guys, is she actually funny or is she cute? Right? Oh, and I'll say this: Corey Holcomb had put me on to this comic. He mentioned this stud comic. She's a female comedian, but she's a stud. But I forgot her name. And I saw a couple of clips of her. I don't find her funny, but she's clever. She's definitely clever. But I forgot what her name is, and she's a stud. There's no funny female comics out there. But let's search up Haley Bailey, the comic. Haley Bailey, the comic. Hallie, are you sure her name is Haley Bailey? Sounds like another celebrity. Haley Bailey, the comedian. Hallie Bailey, the comedian. Oh no, that's that's somebody else. It's probably a different last name. It's probably a different last name. Oh yeah, there was this one Indian chick that I saw. She said she had a funny line. It was this one female Indian female comic that I gave her props. She was talking about how her sister had it made because she had she married a guy where he was rich, he had money, she didn't have to work, and she had a dead mother-in-law. He was like, and his mom is dead. I was like, oh damn. that was good. That was like, that was good. I turned into Eddie Murphy. I was like, that girl good. That girl good. But like I said, I don't even know her name. Right? Oh, you said her name is Hallie Khalil. Hallie Khalil. Okay, Hallie Khalil. Let me see what she looks like. Hallie Khalil. Oh, so she's is she actually a comedian though? Because I'm looking at because they're saying she's an influencer slash model. Like, does she only do skits? Does she only do, because I'm thinking maybe she only does skits. She probably doesn't do, I don't, because your stand-up comedy, it's almost like when it comes to rapping, right? One of the main judges, like one of the things that I'm judging when it comes to your rapping is your pen, your lyricism slash freestyle game, right? But particularly your pen. How good is your pen, right? Your writing. You know, that's a big part of it. So when it comes to comedians, I think the biggest part of how I judge you as a comedian is your stand-up. Your stand-up, man. So she need, because I'm looking at her profile. I don't know if she even does stand-up. Because not like stand-up, that's a different beast. Because there's some funny female, there's probably like one or two funny female influencers, right? But in terms of like a comic, oh, you already said it in your comment. You said she's not really a comedian. Okay, my bad. But yeah, I don't see no stand-up nowhere. Yeah, she's just an influencer. Gold 7 says, I'm with you on that. Some more has her moments. She's better than most of the wannabe female comedians. Yeah, she's definitely better than, she's better than all of the female comedians today. It's not even close. It's not even close. Especially also today's female comedians, oh my God, they're terrible. Because I'm talking about the male IG comedians are horrible. So we can't, so now you take the female comedians off of IG, the Jess Hilariouses of the world, the B Simones of the world. Oh my God. Awful. Oh man, you're better off taking that money and giving it to a crackhead. You'll see more. You give that money that you were going to spend on a Jess Hilarious comedy show, and give it to a crackhead that's begging for money outside a gas station. You'll get more bang on your buck. Ike Turner said, Corey is gay. I don't care what people say. Nah, you're projecting. Aaron Hughes 727 says, Anton has so many feminine tendencies and women facial gestures. He went live with his mother and disrespected his wife and told his mom his wife was half naked. What guy tell their mom that? Yeah, he does things like that. He says too many things where I'm like, what kind of nigga says that? I'll be like, what man says that? It's too many instances where Anton, he'll do that, or he'll do things which are clearly scripted, where he'll tell the girl to do this before he calls the phone. Like he'll do corny stuff like this. Too much tomfoolery on his end too with that. Yeah, she's not a comedian. Yeah, Hallie Khalil. Yeah, she's I don't know. I'll take a look at her skits. Might pop up on my IG, and I probably don't notice. There might be some funny female influencers. Like I'll say this. Like I always say this. Like both of my aunts, right? Sorry, two, because I have many aunts, but there's two of my aunts. They're funny, legit. Like I'm talking about legitimately funny, but they're not. They don't like, you know, going outside. They're not like these outward, you know, extroverted type people. I need attention. They're not those type of people. They're just funny, right? Like the actual funny women, they don't get any airplay because of what they look like, or they might not have the looks part of it, and so they'll never be able to move up in the game. They won't have the looks, and then on top of that, they're not willing to have they're not willing to sleep with certain male producers, so they'll never get the shine that they deserve. Shout out to Chitango 76. I don't know why I'm having trouble saying that. He said, just subbed. God bless. Yeah, shout out to you, man. Thank you for that, man. Let me see. What do I have somebody, if I get a new sub? I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a soundbite for that. I don't have a soundbite for that. But shout out to you, man. B. Watkins says, I've only just gotten to the chat, so I didn't really know it was just about comedians. Nah, that's all good. You're good. Stand up, because stand up, like, that's how I judge you as a comic. If your stand up is like a big, that means a lot to me. You know what I mean? Because it's a different beast. It's a different beast. Gold 7 says, yes, sir, stand-up is different. I started out doing stand-up, and then I moved to the back of the camera. I've been on both sides of that coin. Oh, man. Chitango 76 says, did anyone notice how Anton's voice went to them high notes when Corey got into his face? Yeah, it went to his, because he went through, this is where, when you got a capping ninja like Anton, his voice is going to start getting high, right? And it's people like that where they can start getting that high pitched voice. I start to understand why when I particularly, when I raise my voice, people think I'm yelling, and they're like, yo, chill. Only is because my voice tends to project. And even like you'll hear, I remember there used to be certain people, they would say slick stuff about my voice. And I used to be actually, how do I say it? I used to be insecure about my voice because people would start to say, oh, I sound like an African warlord and all this nonsense, right? And that could have been true, but at the end of the day, they were intimidated. And I saw it in real time. And it was like, oh, that's why they would say some slick stuff about my deep voice. Oh, your voice sounds so deep. I can't understand. Man, if you don't shut the fuck up. But then when I start raising my voice, I realize it picks up and people be like, whoa, yo, chill. I was like, oh, okay, that's really what it is. So some people, they have a voice where when they get into fight and flight mode, their real voice comes out, right? So if you know what I mean? If a transformer, they get beat up, their real voice come out. Yeah, that's a sick joke to make. Shout out to Corey Holcomb. He was talking about that. But I've seen that in real life. One of these, feminine dressing look, man, somebody start getting their hits on them and their real voice start coming out. Hey, nigga, please stop. Their real voice, their voice deeper than mine. You know what I mean? But yeah, some people, when they get in fight or flight, their real voice come out and they sound like a bitch. Uncover the Truth 8365 says, you're right. My godmother was introverted and ain't want to go out, but she was hilarious, spoke soft, and was just funny. I know some women like that, bro. Introverted, but they were funny. They just didn't like the attention. Oh, there was this one girl in middle school. She was legit funny. I knew this one girl in middle school. She was funny. Now, she didn't have the looks to come with it, but she was so funny you'd even think about it. Right? So nobody was, crushing on her per se, but she was funny. She was like legit funny. One of the funniest people at our school. Right? But somebody like her, she's the same type of person. Like if a dude was like, look, if you want to be on black and white's got to be into you. Like she's not gonna fall for the okie doke. So she's never, like, if she were to ever start a career in stand-up, it'll never go anywhere. She's gonna need to sleep with somebody, unfortunately. Slug Princess Yaps. I don't even know who these people are. Said I had a classmate in training who was funny too, and I'd say go online and go viral, please, you're hilarious. She'd always say no. Like the real funny ones, they're actually introverted. Yeah, from my experience, it looks like everybody got that same experience. It'll be an actual funny woman, but she don't want to be online. Oh man. Yeah, Anton's voice got super high. I don't know what we talking about. We could go outside. You know what I'm saying? That's how high his voice went. Sorry, my bad. Let me not do that again. I almost killed myself trying to do that. That's how high his voice went. He went into straight chipmunk mode. Not a whole lot of people pointed that out, by the way. So shout out to you guys.
It's just horrible. Like and then I'm just disappointed in how nothing was done. And I went back to the police station like so many times, and the LA fires were the excuse every time, or no detectives were ever available, ever, for some reason.
Well, but the video changes things. I mean, when it's just your word against his word, it's a stalemate. Now you have the video, so that's why and if you don't want,
he's like, why don't you press charges? This guy's a hoe. But he don't understand the circumstances. She full of cap. First of all, she broke as hell. Second of all, excuse me, sorry, my bad. I'm pretty sure there's some kind of double jeopardy law, but we already know when it comes to ninjas, they're quick to double jeopardy a ninja. It don't matter what state it is. So it is what it is. But he clearly doesn't, he isn't really privy to the information. But he wants a case dropped on Corey so bad. This dude, my bad. I got hiccups now. I should have never tried that high pitched voice. Jesus, man, that messed me up.
Answer, I'll respect that and back off. But that's why I'm wondering, are you going to go back to the police now, especially since you have mutual restraining orders? And are you going to say, look at this?
Yeah, who needs the restraining order? I'm the one who's getting punched.
Well, Harvey, what would you advise?
Oh, I don't want to do that. because I'm not going.
Where did her tears go? That's very interesting.
I don't know all the facts. And I will tell you this. The one question I really do have is, and I don't think there's any justification for what he did, because all you're doing when we see the video is talking back and forth.
Roasting, and that's what happens in front of the Improv every Monday for the past 30 years. And we stand out there and roast, but everybody knows in the hood, whoever wants to fight or cry first loses. And he literally lost it.
Well, now he said that you went after him first, and it's not seen in the video.
Right. What he actually wrote in his restraining order is that you put hands on him
before this video started. First, so of course he has to create some crazy story, but basically at the end of the day, he put his hands on me and I didn't do anything to him. Nothing. But also with that video.
Yeah, that's how you know somebody's like, oh, I did nothing. I did nothing to her. Even Corey admitted that, look, I shouldn't have muffed the bitch. I messed up by doing that. Oh, I did nothing to him. It's you ever meet like people like that in middle school and high school? You'll ask, okay, you in the principal's office, what did you do? I didn't do anything. She one of them type of people, man. Oh my God. Uncover the Truth 8365 said, thanks for engaging with us in the comments, bro. I just followed, man. Thank you. Shout out to Aaron Hughes 727 with another $20 super chat, man. Man, I appreciate that, man.
Donations. donations, 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 gifts, 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 more gifts, more gifts.
He said, here, do you have the small clip of Kwame lighting Anton up when Anton just went off on him from what his podcast told him about Kwame? Yeah, and yeah, Anton, he just went off a whim. I don't know why he crashed out on Kwame like this. That was very stupid of him to do. But it was about a what, a 10-minute clip, a 5-7 minute clip. Yeah, about a 7-minute clip. That's the clip that I saw. And Kwame Brown was just lighting him up. He was like, man, I've been trying to spare you. I be trying to help little niggas like you, and you be thinking I'm trying to bully you. I'm trying to help you. Unfortunately, Anton Daniels, he's one of these people where he really believes that, that TV trope. You know how the TV trope where the big jock is the big bully. And the reality is that's not the case. That's just TV BS. The people that end up bullying you, a lot of them, they're losers themselves, but they're really not at that level of the jocks. The jocks tend to, if they do end up bullying somebody, they'll be hazing somebody on their own football team. They're not just going to be randomly hazing somebody. It's somebody on their own football team or their own sports team, or somebody that's going to steal their spot. So somebody that's an actual threat, and then they'll go in at it. But he really believes that TV stuff. The nerds are winning. I'm like, bro, let's not do this. Oh, man. Yeah, Uncover the Truth 8365 says Corey had a girl named Trina on his show who was there and said they weren't roasting at all because nobody messed with her like that. Yeah, I talked. Well, I didn't talk about that part, but I did talk about how they had Trina come on the show the following week, to come to Corey Holcomb's defense. So shout out to the female comedian. I think her name is Trina. Right. So shout out to her. The donations. People really like that soundbite. I can't believe it. I got another soundbite. I'm not gonna play that. But oh man, he said the reason it wasn't in the video because whoever put it out edited out all the videos. They just put the edited version up on purpose. That's what they usually do. They tend to usually do that to like the black male athletes, where they don't show the argument that led to it. They don't even show if the woman put her hands on the man first. They edit it to just show the part where the man is putting his hands on the woman, even if it's just to push her. Right. I remember in 2015 or 2014, this was in the NFL. They try to do this on a white man. It was funny. Brock Osweiler. Do you guys remember the quarterback Brock Osweiler? I don't know if people remember Brock Osweiler. So this was when he was on the Broncos before the Texans paid all that money for him. He was just walking to his car with his team, his people, and then this female groupie was trying so hard to get at him. All he did was push the bitch away because he didn't know who it was, and they were trying to make it a big deal. They try to make it viral on TMZ and all these things, but it didn't work, right? But it was just so. I'm like, wow. I'm like, they really. It's just no matter if the girl's crazy, the girl can have a weapon. If you just put your hands on the woman, even if she's attacking you, that could be enough to where you could lose your job in the NFL. And if you're not in good standings with the media, if it was Antonio Brown, they would have counted that against him or somebody else. But since it was Brock Osweiler, he was a white quarterback. He was 6'7", 6'8". People wanted him to succeed at the time, so they kind of swept it under the rug, and rightfully so, because it was a nothing burger. But depending on who you are, they will show an edited footage of you with a woman. They're not going to show the full video, so they can make you look like the bad guy. And there's high schoolers that already know what this tactic is. It's just a shame where I just saw all these male content creators jump on the grift. You know. Yep. And he says, and he said, we can't forget there's no audio in the video, but there was audio in her TMZ video. We all heard that lie detector. I mean, smoke alarm. Yeah, they knew they made a mistake interviewing her. She should have kept silent. That would have been her, you know, that would have been the better position for her to just keep silent. So Aaron Hughes 727 says he said he was the guy that when you was getting bullied and put in the locker, he was the one that would come and take you out the locker and tell the bullies to leave you alone. Yeah, I remember Kwame said that in that clip. But I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. When I was even when I was younger, that was the case. It'd be some niggas doing things to you, and then you'll see like a big dude, like a Goliath type dude will come out of nowhere and be like, hey guys, man, chill, he's had enough. That's usually how it is, actually, if we're keeping it a buck. But on TV, they'll have you think different. TV, they'll have you think different. I remember when I was a young kid, and I even explained where these dudes, they were trying to haze me. And when I was explaining the story, people were laughing at me when I explained the story. And these guys were like, at that point, doing fluffy things, close to fluffy things, where I was like basically in a corner, damn near naked. This was when I was like I was like in kindergarten. I only had a towel, and these dudes took my underwear and they threw it on top of the locker. And everybody was like, you know, joking, making, you know, jokes. And I was literally in the corner, literally almost close to tears. And then you know who came out, who came to help me out? Not the counselors, not the normies. It was a big dude, just came out of nowhere. He's like, really, guys? He comes up to the locker, takes the underwear, and he's like, and he just tosses it to me. He's like, guys, come on, man. And then he just walks away, and nobody dared challenge him. That's usually how it is. That's usually what happens. It's the normies, is the people that think they're better than you because of whatever position they may have, but they're not really at the level of the jocks. You know? So I've seen that happen. Like that happen to me. I've seen that happen to many people. Or I remember when I was in a situation where, when I was in high school, these dudes were out here talking crazy to this one real small dude. These were like a bunch of like, you know, juniors, you know, making jokes. Then I'm talking about the senior dude came out of nowhere. He actually cracked the joke on the dude, but the other juniors were real silent, because then he started roasting the juniors. The freshmen started laughing. And then the seniors like, yeah, that's right. You got to laugh at these hoe ass niggas, man. That's what you're supposed to do. And it was just like real quiet right afterwards. You got it. Like when you see like the power dynamics happen in real time, you're just like, wow. Right. Usually that's what happens, especially back in the days. Cause Anton probably, you know, he most likely came up in a time where you're talking about the 90s and the early 2000s where hazing was a thing. Like I was probably like the last of the people that saw the last of the hazing before the SJWs came in. You know? But yeah, that's quite unfortunate. Yep. So Aaron Hughes 727 said, I just found out that getting in a person's space with a finger or four gesture is assault. Christina pointed in his face, blah, blah, blah. C still should have walked away, but that's why courts threw it out. Exactly. Because she did something, you know, so just everything just canceled itself out. And that's what Corey Holcomb was talking about. So Anton is catching hell for infidelity. God doesn't like ugly. Oh yeah, I had to save a couple of ninjas too in my latter years. But people like, for example, like, you know, when I would work at the theaters and stuff like that, when I do work, and then you see like these, you know, these kids acting a plump fool. It'll be usually it used to be the women. They'll try to get these kids to knock it out, to knock it off. Do you know who they usually had to call, you know, to kick out the people causing the nonsense? They had to call me. Because even like the bigger dudes, they would kind of be like, hey guys, you know, you guys mind, keep it down. I would literally be like, out, get out. I used to literally be like, get out. And I think I got that respect only because I think, first of all, I look a lot older than I am. I think that's really what it is. And then my voice tends to carry weight when I raise my voice. So anytime they start trying to cap and they start lying, oh, I didn't do any, I'll be like, man, stop, please. If you do this again, I'm gonna kick you out. That's it. Right. I remember, oh man, did I tell you this story when I was working at I used to work at the theater, and there were these kids. That was my first encounter with a young, it was a boy and a young Transformer boy. So this was a Transformer girl. So this was a boy and a young Transformer girl. Because I looked at her, and I was like, I think this is a young person going through some kind of hormonal experiment type thing. This was not like one of these androgynous kids, but this was a young Transformer. She was probably like 13 or 14 years old. And they came out the theater and they said like, yo, there are these kids, they're throwing stuff at us. And me, I went into straight, oh, hell no. Man, I walked with those kids in the back. And then I told them, because you know, when you start approaching these kids, what they're going to say, I didn't do nothing. Why you got? I'm like, guys, these kids are not going to leave the theater in the middle of a movie and miss important parts of the movie to lie. I was like, dude, if I catch any of you guys, if I hear anything else from these people, I'm kicking you out. That's it. And those young kids, apparently they reached out to like 2 other employees. They didn't even do anything. No, you gotta go up to those kids, because they're not lying. They're not. If somebody's leaving the theater, if somebody's gonna leave their theater, they're gonna leave their seats. If they're going to leave their seats, and I'm talking about miss key parts of the movie to complain about what? You think they're lying? They're not trying to miss the movie. If somebody's got to leave their seats at the movie theater to complain about how loud you're being or you're doing something to them, they're clearly telling the truth. So I never really investigated in terms of who blew off those kids when they were complaining about them. But me? Nah, I said, fuck that. I went in there. I told those kids, I said, listen, if I hear anything else about you throwing stuff, nope, I don't want to hear it. Anything else, you're going to get kicked out. Right? Cool. And they were like, okay, yeah. All right, good. Glad we came to an understanding. Because everybody knows that the kids, they going to lie. I didn't do anything. Man, but I know you don't got the time to complain, because I know you want to watch some of that movie too. It was like a group of these bullies, a group of these kids. It was like 2 boys, one blonde hair chick, and another little brunette chick. They all looked like they were like in 8th grade, 9th grade. They're sitting there These motherfuckers were throwing food at the young Transformer kids, or the one Transformer kid with I guess his brother, or that was his friend. I don't know who that was. I'll never forget that. I was like, oh hell no! I'm like, y'all let this slide, man. The real bullies, first of all, are the negligent adults because they told a couple of adults. They didn't do anything about it. And the real bullies are the regular people that feel like they're superior. They feel like they're superior to the homeless person. They feel like they're superior to, the one kid that comes into class and he probably smells like trash because, his parents are poor and stuff like that. Those are the real bullies. It's rare that you really see like a jock that's bullying kids like that. If the jocks are doing bullying, it's because they're bullying people amongst their ranks. They're not necessarily picking down at low-hanging fruit. Aaron Hughes 727 says, FYI, Christina at least made anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 for both of her interviews. I hate to think what she'll do with that money. Oh yeah, she's gonna you already know when it comes to, unfortunately, and I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you guys. When it comes to women and their money, particularly women like Christina, that money's gonna run through her like water. Just like water. Like when you see dudes, quote unquote, tricking on women, right? Giving them money. The reason why is I don't really consider it a big deal because the women, they rarely get rich off the tricks money. That's why I tend not to really OD get mad when guys are like paying for it per se, only because the women, they don't really do anything with the money. Now it messes up the game sometimes because some people pay way too much for certain women, but that money they can never keep that money. I'm telling you, Chris, like even the Shannon Sharp accuser, right? Who was bragging about retiring off of OnlyFans. You think she's gonna be broke in a year? Give it 2 years max. No, I'm gonna be bold. Give it a year. She's gonna be doing another scheme to get somebody's money. Give it a year. I'm telling you.
Not showing is the minutes before that. That video really needs to start from when I walk out there initially instead of right cut right there, because there's a gun involved that he passed off to another female comedian and was like, oh, go put that up for me before he hit me. So
now she's trying to mention he has a gun and all this stuff because it's the state of California. Okay. Oh wow.
Literally, I am fighting with my mouth for my life, roasting this dude, but in the name of Jesus.
Oh Lord. This bitch, she lying.
Okay. So I literally said, like, leave me alone. Like, you didn't learn from the last time you tried to, say, he said, I'm a super sock this beat. That's what he said initially 6 months prior to that hit. So he finally did what he had been saying he was going to do. He threatened me in June of 2024.
So wouldn't you be trying to avoid him instead of going to the exact place where he's at? So Corey Holcomb's going there, and since he's such a big threat, but you're always showing up there where he's at, oh Lord have mercy, man. This isn't, like I said, I think the normies saw this and they're like, wait a minute.
Before this hit happened in December of 2024, and there's witnesses for that as well. So that's why,
Christina, what started back in June? What started this beef between you? Was it just a roasting that somebody that?
Well, he literally jumped into a conversation I was having with another comedian, and we were having this conversation with that comedian because of what.
That's cap. Now, shout out to Aaron Hughes. He says, I'm getting ready for work, unfortunately. Have fun. Hope all the best. Be safe. Please post your next live, brother, man. Shout out to you. Go get that money. You already know. I know, like Trevor, he does the same thing. Like he said, he used to listen to me at work. So shout out to you guys, man. Go make that money. And man, I was supposed to be working tonight on my assignment. I was supposed to be in New York City. Well, it's not me working per se, but I was going to get paid to cover somebody. I'm not talking about instruments in terms of to watch somebody. I was about to be paid to do that. But Uncovered Truth says she's such a horrible actor. Beep, beep, you hear that smoke detector. Yeah. It's her story. Oh Lord. She's actually proving Corey right with this TMZ interview.
He was doing to another female comedian, making her uncomfortable. So when that guy went off, and I clowned him to silence, but later he's my friend, so I'm like leaving. I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna see you tomorrow, friend. On some but he literally was on silence and then stood over by Corey Holcomb, and then Corey Holcomb goes, he ain't gotta say you, bitch. And he jumps in my conversation with my friend. So that's how that whole thing started that way in June of 2024. But there's history going back from 12, 15 years ago on my radio.
So you had said a few minutes ago that the video, you saw that you got the video just a day after the court hearing for the restraining order.
Yes.
So you have this video. Do you have the longer version where you see somebody brandishing a gun?
Well, that's the thing, is that it was literally sent to my attorney, where it's cut right after he were to pass it off or something like that. So it's they're not showing the whole video, and that's what I'm saying. We need the whole video, from the front when I walked out there initially, 12:35 or something, when I had to, and I was waiting for my car to pull up. My car was arriving sooner, whatever. Right. It's that was only a matter.
If that was really a thing, they would have shown that part. Now you got to be, because right now the powers that may be, or the people connected to Anton, etc., sodomy hype, aka comedy hype. If that was really the case, they could have showed that. But there's a reason why they're not showing that part, because it's probably gonna make you look crazy. If they show any minutes or any seconds before, they can't show that part, because there's plenty of incentives. If there was any gun in sight, first of all, somebody would have mentioned that. If there was any type of gun in sight, because it's the state of California. So this is why I'm calling cap on this.
Of 8 minutes or something like that of time, but they're literally showing right at the 3-minute mark or something like that, and not the whole complete video. But after, if you look back towards the end, you'll see that person goes back to go get wherever she hit it from, and you know what I'm saying. So it's
okay. Well, it seems like the full video, is going to tell the story.
Thank you
Christina,
so much.
Thank you so much.
Really
for talking
appreciate
to us.
Thank you.
We're going to be following this. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh man. Anywho, let me see. Can I fast forward? But yeah, I'll say the shout out to Fawcett Media for showing the loyalty, for already knowing about this, for already knowing that Corey Holcomb has already talked about this ad nauseum, so much so that the fans said stop talking about it. Right. So now I'm gonna give her. I might have to give her. Let me see. There's another lady here. Her name is Lakeisha. Yeah, Keisha. Or did she? Oh, she probably said the same thing. But I got to find another video that she did where. You see if I can find it. Nah, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it alone. So Ticket TV, apparently he just dropped a video. He says, so he's talking about Christina Payne right here. She's in fear of her life from Corey Holcomb. Good Lord. But let me find the Kwame Brown video of him talking about Anton Daniels, which was funny. That's what somebody asked me in the chat. I gotta do that. It should be on Kwame Brown's channel. Oh no, that's on his second channel. Kwame Brown, Bust Life. Here we go. Yeah, if you guys don't like, if you guys are not, please subscribe to Kwame Brown's Bust Life channel. That's one of the best, one of the funniest videos. Let's see it. I think it should be a live or something, right? It should have been a live clip. Or it's, oh shoot. Let's see. I think it's this one right here. Or no, it's not. I don't think it's this one. No, it's not. But I might have to go on Self Talk TV. He probably has the clips. He probably has the clips. So let's go on Self Talk. Right here. Here we go.
Kwame Brown used to be on my nuts. It's the honest to God truth. Hey, man, I like what you're talking about, bro. I like it. Used to be on my nuts all the time.
I'm not you, nigga. You are a fool.
The video you're about to watch on Self-Conclusion channel is for fair use purposes.
Okay, so in today's video, man, we got to talk about Anton Daniels and Kwame Brown. So like they had confronted each other live on their platforms. And I would like to highlight everything and break this thing down and put everything into context for you guys. So I guess Kwame Brown has been doing some videos talking about the Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels situation. As you guys can see, he's been doing live streams and videos and putting out content and stuff like that. So I guess Anton Daniels caught wind of that. And I don't know if Kwame Brown said anything bad about Anton Daniels in those videos, but his chat was letting him know, like, hey, what's going on with Kwame? Because last we know of was that Anton Daniels and Kwame Brown was cool. Remember, we did a video a couple of months ago when King Martin was calling out Anton Daniels, when Anton Daniels was on Kwame Brown's platform talking about the Gilbert Arenas situation with Gilbert Arenas selling his YouTube channel 50-50 partnership with Underdog Fantasy. And in that video, Anton Daniels had called Gilbert Arenas co-host nobodies. And, you know, that had upset King and Martin, and King and Martin went off on Anton Daniels, right? So, yeah, man, so I guess that's why, you know, people from Anton Daniels' community was like, yo, you know, what's going on with Kwame Brown?
What's wrong with Kwame? He talking mad crazy. What is he saying? I'm completely unaware.
So this dude was too lazy to do the research. When somebody just mentioned Kwame Brown, oh, they're saying Kwame Brown's talking crazy. That's one of Anton Daniels' bots getting his own self in trouble. That's crazy.
Of what's happening in most spaces, I get a general idea. Kwame and Carcino is talking crazy. Yeah, Kwame Brown is super biased. It's sad to say, lost a lot of respect. Oh, he's talking about me negatively? Well, I mean, listen, if I'm not mistaken, Kwame Brown was on the platform, right? No? Listen. Y'all got to give these people grace. I got to give them grace. And the reason that I say y'all got to give them grace is because y'all have to understand that most of these people are part of the industry, right? And so when I say a part of the industry, as much as they try to act like they're independent and they're independent thinkers, they're not.
So Anton responded, and he got disrespectful in his response. So check it out right here. Here's a clip right here.
Kwame Brown used to be on my nuts. It's the honest to God truth.
What is it with this dude and him talking about, yo, you on my, you tell another man that you told Corey that he's sucking the D of black people. Now you're talking about Kwame Brown is on your nuts. What is it with this ninja and and sack references? This is wild work.
They're part of the industry. As much as they try to act like they're
responded, and he got disrespectful in his response. So check it out right here. Here's a clip right here.
Kwame Brown used to be on my nuts. It's the honest to God truth. Hey, man, I like what you're talking about, bro. I like it. Used to be on my nuts all the time. All the time. Used to be on my nuts. But I understand that Kwame Brown, after his whole thing with Gilbert Arenas, and from a business perspective, his whole thing with Gilbert Arenas, his whole thing with Stephen A. Smith, Kwame Brown caught a wave. He caught a wave, and that's how he was able to build up his platform to get to whatever his subscribers is. But Kwame Brown hit a ceiling. He's not able to grow his platform based off of his own analysis, based off of his own content. And so, you know.
No, Kwame Brown was shooting up too much in the algorithm. I believe the powers that may be shut him down. That's my opinion. I could be wrong about that. But Kwame Brown, I'm particularly in 2021 or 2022, he was going up in the algorithm like like scary up. And he just all of a sudden he just plateaued. And he was still getting plenty of views, like plenty of uh interaction with the viewers and all that stuff, viewer retainership, all of that. The ceiling he hit is there's certain people they're not allowed to really grow their platform, right? So Kwame Brown got viral and shadow banned overnight because he was calling out too many people of influence. And he was able to expose the chain of command. He was basically able to expose Breakfast Club, Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, Boyce Watkins, and many other people, right? So it was a chain of command he was able to expose in real time. So they had to like they really try to shut that down.
He do these dusty live streams where it's just him off camera. Yeah. You know me. And it's cool. You know what I'm saying? So Kwame get the stimmy pack like everybody else.
But that's how he got viral, doing the same thing. So that's a mute point.
But you know what's embarrassing is because Kwame is supposed to be better than the dusty niggas that he's spending all of his time hanging around. Kwame Brown is a fucking former #1 pick in the NBA. What are you doing panels with randoms that you don't even know?
So that's very interesting. That's very interesting. Now he thinks because Kwame Brown has a certain status, he feels like Kwame Brown shouldn't do live panels with the actual people. Interesting mindset to have. Interesting mindset. But I'm gonna let it play.
Regular everyday people like me that didn't have the back. I see why Jordan was like, man, this nigga soft. But he keep trying to do what everybody else is doing instead of understanding that he's supposed to be much greater than that. It's the truth. There's no reason why I should have a bigger platform than Kwame Brown.
So that's what Anton Daniels said, responding to Kwame Brown, making videos about the Corey.
And like I said, I do believe when you do have a platform, you do need to be selective on who you let on. But that should be praised when it comes to somebody like Kwame Brown, because he does have the celebrity status to actually put people of a certain status on his platform, and he still gives the chance for the average, normal, everyday people to join on. So that's actually commended from somebody of his status. That's a different, case. But Anton is still looking at it from a hater's point of view. He doesn't understand that his situation is different. He can do that, but he chooses not to. So that shows you that he's not in it for the clout like you are. Anton's only worried about clout. Kwame Brown is worried about what the actual people are thinking, which is very commendable because he doesn't have to do that. But you're going to use that against him on why he's not growing? That's just a certain type of evil. Or how about this? Not evil, but that you got to be a certain type of hater to hate on somebody for not clout chasing. So that's, it's a pretty, interesting piece of logic to use. Oh, man. Cecilia Jackson, Z3 C3 Zio. Let me see. Cecilia Jackson says Anton got all of this smoke for Corey, and Fleece Johnson told him he was cute, and he talked to him, and Anton was giggling. Yeah, that was crazy. That's like first of all, you don't even do an interview with a person like that, like a Fleece Johnson in the first place. That's already suspect, number one. Number two, you are very right. This ninja giggled like a beesh. And when you see clips like that, then I got to start giving credit to the people that have been on this chat or have been on my platform and have questioned the sexuality of Anton. But I look at Anton, he's just a clout chasing, beanbag. That's what he is. A clout chasing big old beanbag. No, small beanbag. That dude had me. I'll say this. Anton had me laughing. He thought he I'm gonna beat Corey's ass. I'm like, man, you ain't beating nobody, man. Stop. This dude is a short, fat ninja with small hands. I keep saying this just to put it in perspective who we're talking about here. This dude will tear his ACL if you got to do one gym session. So please.
Holcomb situation in the 5150 fight that happened live on the 5150 show with Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels, the heated exchange that went viral that everybody is still talking about.
It's a clout. So Pyro asks, is it a suspect giggle or I'm a very uncomfortable type of giggle? It's a clout chasing giggle. I'm a giggle with you because whatever, this is helping me with whatever what I need to do. But when it's other people, it's a different type of energy for some reason. Damn. So Reaper Rail said, ask Anton, would he rather have his dad alive and the initial seed money for his wealth not there, or would he prefer what he has now with his father gone? I don't know. Seeing how Anton acts. I don't know, man. That's a good question to ask him. Would he rather have his dad alive and the initial seed money for his wealth not there, or would he prefer what he has now with his father gone? Hey, man, listen, man. Knowing a guy like Anton, you know what he's gonna prefer. He's gonna look. You know he's gonna prefer the latter. You know he's gonna prefer the latter. The type of guy that I'm looking at Anton and how he is. he was probably that whole ass dude was probably at his own dad's funeral, acting all sad, and then saying some slick shit in the middle of his speech. God has a plan, and in his mind, and the plan is that seed money, the insurance money that he was able to get. God has a bigger plan. God, he was probably one of those doing that slick shit. We already know, and I know that's kind of disrespectful to even think that he would think that way, but looking at how he acts. And I mean, his own brand is called the Bag Chasers. It kind of shows me everything I need to know about this guy. Cecilia Jackson said, a man shouldn't be uncomfortable if another man tells him he's cute. He should be offended. That's what Corey Holcomb was trying to say. Well, just in general, where basically, if you are dealing with somebody like that, if you are working with somebody like that, like I have, right, in my industry, any weird suggestions or any type of thing that they might try to imply, you should be offended. Or, and I'll say this, in my case, if I hear any weird-ish in general, I'd say whether you're straight or not straight, because I done seen some straight dudes be on some fluffy stuff, and I'm like, I'm out. Literally, I hear it, I'll be like, no, I can't do this. And like I said, when you a real man, it's not even a matter of uncomfortability. It's what is exactly what you say. It's just offended, disgusted, right? Like I said, Anton, he's willing to do anything for clout, even to put a known male rapist on his platform for views. He's willing to do that. I'm not saying it's not, like, there's certain things you do for views in general, but there's certain things you should not be doing. Or there's gotta be a line somewhere where you're like, look, I'm not gonna accept this. I'm not gonna accept doing this. But clearly Anton doesn't really have a line. Anyways.
Yeah, man. So Kwame Brown responded back to what Anton Daniels said about him, telling him to get off his nuts. So let's check out what Kwame Brown said in response. If you can, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help support my YouTube channel, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you.
You short, no neck having dummy. You literally listened to your crowd and said, what did Kwame say? You didn't hear nothing I said. You didn't take your time. Remember, the man that don't give a fuck about what nobody say, you didn't take your time and figure out what is it that I said. You automatically went to running your mouth. You automatically say, I don't be outside. Ironically, I'm outside right now. I'm just not new money like you, and I don't act like a jackass like you. I don't have to show that I'm on camera. I don't have to play tough. I'm not you, nigga. You are a fool. But if you said that I'm like a chick, but if I get upset with you, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna handle it myself. You get upset with me, you got to call another grown man. What are you talking about? You got to call another man for me. And unlike you, dumbass boy, I turn my camera off because I'm not chasing clout. I don't give a fuck about this YouTube. I don't. You telling me I want to be a content creator? You go back and look at one of my lives where I'm talking to my brother about being a content creator, you dummy. I know you got a little fetish about sucking D and nuts and all this. I understand you like to talk to men like that, but that's not going to get me out of character. I don't got no wife. I don't got none of that. You do. And I'm going to show you why you should leave a nigga like me alone. And you should leave a nigga like Corey alone too. But now you want to play tough guy. So let's play tough guy. So what is it for a man to gain the world but lose his soul? You clown ass boy. You just like Charleston White was at a basketball game and some other dudes walked up to you asking you about me. Do you know that no dude in their right mind would come up to me and ask me about you? No dude in their right mind would come up to me and ask me about you. Matter of fact, a dude better not ask me about no another man at a basketball game while I'm trying to enjoy my time. And I done brought tickets and there's girls around.
Okay, so that's what Kwame Brown said in response to Anton Daniels calling him out, man. So yeah, you know, like I said, at one point they were cool. So now it's like, you know, that friendship or whatever it was you want to call it is now over with, man. Especially with Anton Daniels saying, you know, get off his nuts. You know, like I said, you know, Anton did respond.
And you know what's crazy? I remember Kwame Brown, he used to give, you know, people like Tommy Sotomayor credit and everything, but Tommy Sotomayor showed his, you know, true self to Kwame Brown, and Kwame Brown had to cut that off as well. So, you know, I don't know what it is with these weirdo ninjas, you know. I know what it is with Tommy, you know. He's just he has his own set of mental issues that he needs to deal with. And then with Anton, we already know what it is with Anton. He's just as bad as the clout chasing 304s that he complained about. But anyway, shout out to Kwame Brown. Shout out to him putting that real ish out here. Great channel. Let me see if I miss any chats. Oh, right here. It says, hey, whoever, hey, B, who you are. But if you're a real man, you don't want another man telling you you're cute. That's suspect. Now, usually I'll say this. Usually when women tell what a real man would do, usually I don't listen. But you are right on this one. You are right. That's like if another man talking about your, you know, what did Jamal Bryant say to Cam Newton? You got some nice looking legs. They laminated. Now, no, you can't let no man do that to you. You cannot let a man do that to you. Absolutely not. That is unacceptable behavior. Oh, man. It's a whole lot of retractions, though, going on with this situation. I think people are looking at now. People are starting to make the connections. But I will not forgive, what's his name? Shisha Zed, for what he said, a lot of these other people. And to be fair, I was probably on Facebook too much. But the simps were going way too ham for this nonsense. Let me see. The history of dating Black to 2012 probably confirms that she is a stalker. Oh, he said, what did Shisha Zed say? Oh, yeah, he was talking about values, and all this stuff. Like, look, I am a fan of Corey Holcomb's, but usually in crises like these, people's values are revealed. And no matter what situation, this is not a good look. He was very slick with his wording. Very slick with his wording. It's easy for us to say, walk away, but anybody that's dealt with women problems, they know that, first of all, a restraining order is not going to do anything. Like that's not going to do anything when it comes to women. They violate that joint all the time. They'll get like a slap on the wrist here and there. If you have a female stalker, there's really nothing you can do about it. You just have to hope that like she takes it too far one day to where they do something about it once and for all. But if you have a female stalker, you have a female stalker basically for life. Nothing happens to them. So No Ego says, did the woman hit Corey first? People are saying she did, but I haven't seen that on video. That's because the video is edited. They're only going to show the part when they usually do this to, particularly they do it to black male athletes. They're only going to show the part where Corey muffed her. That's all they're going to show. Just that moment. And if they're willing to edit it out, just outright, or just not show the full clip, they're willing to do that. So that's, I'll say this: these platforms that have just been showing that edited video just recklessly, what if they end up, what if they end up finding like the full video or the full unedited version, or people start getting full context behind that video, and now all these people that unshared that video out of spite, because they shared it out of spite, let's keep it a buck. All these people that shared it out of spite, they're going to be backtracking. And this is my opinion on this, but I think I'll be proven right. Look, when you show a fight video or a fight related video, that messes with your monetization. You're not going to get a green, dollar sign mark. You're going to get a yellow dollar sign mark on your video. Now, these same people, when they would show older Corey Holcomb videos, whether for good or for bad, when they show Corey Holcomb talking, what did they do? They edit out all of his curse words so they can keep their monetization on the video. So they'll keep all of the other stuff, but they'll edit out the curse words. Oh, because I want to keep my monetization. But you're willing to share a potential video, an alleged fight video with Corey allegedly putting their hands on a woman, and it's edited, but you're willing to share the video, and it's gonna mess up your monetization sharing that video just so that you can make Corey Holcomb look bad. Trust me, I peep it. I peep it. They can act like, oh, I'm just trying to be. Nope. It's out of hate. It's all out of hate. Because if you was really about that money, you wouldn't even share the video. You'd only show you wouldn't even share the picture because you'd be afraid about your monetization. But they didn't even care. They're like, look at what Corey did. No, I don't agree with this. Nah, you being slick. You hating. I know it's hate. I'm willing to stand on it. I'm willing to stand on that. Timmy, let me see. Timely NCH says that's black folks for you. Yeah, Ninjas was getting me mad over the weekend. They was really like, Ninjas was really getting me mad. You should have seen these people on Facebook. Oh, this is not a good look for Corey. You talked about somebody's daughter. Anton asked for the feed, but you put your hands on these women. I don't have any respect for you. Well, I'm like, whatever these dudes need to do to get some pussy, whatever. That's all it is. All performative nonsense. These niggas ain't willing to wait a day, 24 hours to get the full context. Like, say, let's take it at full value. Say you don't know about the 5150 show. Say you don't even know about Corey Holcomb. You see a video of a man muffing a woman in the face, right? You don't know the full context. Why is it just automatically assumed in 2026, if a man puts his hands on a woman, he's in the wrong? I'm talking about a young black man could get shot up in a strip club, literally shot the F up. Have nothing to do with the beef or who got shot. Have nothing to do with the gangsters that were shooting each other. But he gets shot in a strip club. Dude gets shot up. You know what people are gonna say about the dude that got shot up? They're like, damn, that's so unfortunate, and he wasn't even part of the situation. But you know what they're gonna say? They're like, but why was he there at 2 a.m.? They're gonna still victim blame. That dude is still gonna get blamed for being at a place that he's not supposed to be. And mind you, I'm talking about that dude he probably had nothing to do with the shootout. Nothing to do with the shootout. But people still gonna be like, damn, why he in a strip club at 2 a.m.? Shouldn't he be home? So I know I'm not stepping out of bounds for what I'm saying. It's just why can't people be like, well, I don't know about the situation, but what led up to this? What could have possibly gotten this man to put his hand in the woman's face? What could she have possibly said? But most men are not willing to say that because they're just afraid what women will think about it. That's just what it is. They're just afraid about what the women are going to think about them. That's it. I even heard dudes talking about, oh, this is not a good look for Corey because now women are going to say he hates women. They already say that about him. Who gives a F? They're looking for any excuse. Who cares? Anton Daniels could have never even been on his platform. They're still going to say Corey Holcomb hates women. Who cares? And the women that are hating on him per se that you're trying to impress, they're just mad about his abortion jokes. But they can never think that far ahead. Or how about this? They're just not brave enough to be like, look, what if she had it coming? So no ego said the woman said she called Corey a failure or something. No, she said a lot more than that. You know, a woman will just be like, oh, I didn't say it. Like, these women will literally look at you in your face and be like, I didn't say anything to him. And then once you find out what she actually said, you'd be like, damn, I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't even have said that to my worst enemy. Like women will say stuff like that. You'd be like you'll get in a car accident. She'll be mad at you. She'll say you should have died in the car accident. That's why your mama left you and abandoned you. It'll be like something you told the woman in private, and she'll use it against you. And then when she gets touched up, they'll act like you're wrong for being like, well, there's probably a reason why she got touched up. Uncovered the truth says, I'm in the right place because you're talking sense. Yep. He said, I'm tired of people with that politically correct BS point of view. They automatically defend this woman not knowing the background, no deductive reasoning. They say there's no reason to ever hit a woman. She can stab and shoot and spit and all that, and there's no excuse for a man to defend themselves. I'll just say this, look, if they're in a position, if you're one of these people, right? Like, because this is where I don't get people. Because you'll have people say that, right? I believe in consistency. That's what I believe in. Because if you ask the Saudi Arabians, right, they'll say this. Look, there's no reason to hit. You can't put your hands on a woman. You can't do this to a woman, and blah, blah, blah. Like, don't do this to a woman. But at the same time, their rules are consistent on what they believe in. So they'll be like, okay, now with that being said, women can't drive. You can't leave the house without a male chaperone. It's illegal for women to yell at to raise their voice at men in public. It's all consistent. But in the United States, they'll say there's no reason to hit a woman, but then they allow women to literally commit crimes against men. And then when you stick up for yourself as a man, you get in trouble, which basically gives most women in the United States basically immunity, like they're a diplomat. This is where I come and I'm like, come on, we can't be doing this. Like where it basically puts you in a position where you can't afford to have a woman pissed off at you. I can't live my life like that. I can't. Me personally, I just can't. Let me see. Celia Jackson says, "Where was this woman before the Anton beef? Think for yourself. I research ish. I just don't run with it. But most people run with it. And you know, obviously, a lot of the women are going to run with the story because there's a lot of women that don't like Corey in the first place. But that's fine with me. Honestly, that's just life because there's plenty of women that love what Corey has to say. So it is what it is. They're just going to use their emotions against them. But to see the men, particularly the men that ran with the story without doing their research, it was very few men that did their research. O'Shea Duke Jackson, he's doing a lot of backpedaling right now, right? It's another hoe ass nigga. I should have known about this hoe ass nigga. I didn't give this dude way too many chances, but he's done too much. Anyways, I'm not gonna get myself mad. Uncovered the truth. Said, Chris, you a real man, and we need more of you out there. I'll just say this: I just believe if people were actually fair, women would act right. But it's just a lot of dudes out here. They're just not willing to be like, they're just never willing to say, what did the women do? Right. So let me give you an example. Let me see if I can find my group chat. Because look, man. Because it'll be funny too. Because some people, they'll tell me, yo, Chris, you got to open up. Until I do. And they're like, oh shit, we can't compete with that. Never mind. No, because this is what happens. People will try to say slick-ish to me about my favorite people, and I will say something where I'll show you I'm willing to go there. Because I won't just explain the situation. Because one dude was like, hey, what's up with your boy Corey Holcomb? So one dude, I told him in the group chat in front of everybody, I explained him the situation with why Corey is he's going through where he's going through. I brought up Anton Daniels and all these people, but I didn't stop there. I double texted. I said, well, and at the end of the day, whatever happened to Christina Payne, she probably had it coming anyways. Straight up like that. Straight up like that. And everybody was laughing. They're like, Chris, you going to hell. And they basically switch subjects, like because there's actually women in the group chat. There's women in the group chat. So I'm willing to go there. I'm willing to go there. Because I'm dead serious. He said I'm a little behind. So did the woman hit Corey first? That's what Corey said. And they already, like I said, they went to court on this. They went to court on this already. Now, the way they're showing the video, they're making it seem like that Corey hit her first, but that's not the truth. Those are edited videos. Let me see. And even if he didn't, say in the opposite land, if he went at her first, which is not true, even still then, I'm still going to ask, she probably did something to incite Corey into muffing her in the face. People don't just beat up people out of nowhere, or people don't just get hit out of nowhere or slapped out of nowhere. Something happened. This is why I tell men, I tell women, I tell kids, well, kids already know. You tell women, men, keep your hands to yourself, or, you know, just regular stuff. Watch what you say, and, you know, just regular, normal human being stuff. But I think young ladies realize once they hit like the age of 14 that they have basically based, how do you say it? They basically have immunity. They basically have immunity. They know this. So they'll talk crazy to you, they'll stalk you, they'll do all these things because nobody's going to do anything about it. He said, uncover the truth. Uncover the truth said, I'm glad I saw Corey's side first because the way these people been covering this mess is irresponsible. Uh-oh, Johnny Retro 84 has returned. Oh, Lord. So he said, you're defending Corey and his fake mush. Well, like I said, Corey already addressed this 2 years ago. He addressed it on his own show on what he did. Now, here you have Christina Payne saying that, oh, I never even put my hands on Corey. Tells me everything I need to know. Somebody said dry snitching has karmic. How is what you think that Corey bringing up Mika and Anton, you know, cheating on his wife, you think Corey bringing up Mika, that's snitching? Corey and Anton are not friends. I think we need to actually have like, snitching is not a citizen pointing out somebody's doing a crime, or say somebody calls you out for doing something. That's not snitching. Snitching is if it's like you and your boy, you're crime partners, you're both gangsters, you're both in the crime syndicate, you do business together, and then your friend gets caught, and then he snitches, and then he tells on you. That's snitching. Oh, man. This dude's still on his fake man code stuff. Bro, we know you, Johnny, we know you got that. You only brought up man code because Anton Daniels brought up man code. And you're only bringing up snitching because in another video, Anton literally called Corey a snitch. Homie, you need to have your own you need to have your own thoughts. Unless maybe this might be Anton Daniels' burner. I don't know. He said, yeah, exactly. He says Corey Holcomb had a restraining order on her also. But it don't matter. You can put a restraining order on a broad. That don't do nothing. That's almost like, you know, when you have a woman that's keeping the custody, she's keeping custody away from the man by not showing up to court and doing all these weird things, not showing up to pickups. They're only going to give her a slap on the wrist. They're not going to punish her for it. He said, yeah, now Anton is in beef with Kwame Brown. Yeah, I saw that. I just showed that video. Now that's just stupid. To be in a beef with Kwame Brown, now that's just plain stupid. Uncovered Truth says, yeah, my mom told me to stop hitting guys when I was 18 because I would hit guys knowing they wasn't going to do nothing most of high school, and if they did, I didn't throw a tantrum. Oh, Uncovered Truth, you're a lady? I would have never thought. I'm not even gonna lie. Shout out to you. No ego. And let's look. I'm just pro. Let's not take advantage of what we have, right? There are certain double standards people may benefit from, but that whole double standard of where women can just hit men without nothing happening, like we really got to just tell people, like, let's just relax. And on top of that, let's not incite violence with our words. But like I've heard women say some crazy things to men, and then men will just have to be like, and I'm just have to walk away because there's no winning for him. No Ego says Anton better leave these ex-athletes alone. Most of them have some screw loose. This is true, but I think the ex basketball players they understand the game. They know that like most of those ex basketball players, from what I've seen, I've even interacted with some of these people. They seem very chill because they know that whatever you do to them, and then if they retaliate, they're always going to look like a bad guy. So they have to be like on chill mode for the most part because there's no winning for them. I'm talking about if a regular man attacks them, if a girl attacks them, whatever, since you are the athlete or the professional athlete, they basically expect you to be like a robot. I done seen these people say all types of crazy things to these professional athletes, like in real life time, where I'm like, I know good and damn well if you were in a country where basically you're not, where there's no laws to protect you, they'll be silent. There's no way. Uncover the Truth says by 18, my mom said said these are men you're dealing with now. That's enough. And I never did it again. I respected what she said and it made sense. It should be common sense though. You know, I don't even think it should just be common sense. But there's a lot of people out there that have parents that are not, or they don't have OGs to tell them the truth. Like, look, I don't care where you are in life. Why speaking to? Even I'll say this, even me with my platform. I already know if people find my platform, this could affect my future earnings. This could affect my friendships, my the gigs that I may or may not get, the bigger ones, right? Tours. I may never go on tour again and all this nonsense if they find out my platform. I already understand that. Like even me, and I just know, just because if you're a man that speaks his mind about things, you could lose your job. And I've already accepted the consequences of that. But there are plenty of women out here, particularly American women, where they just think it's all good. I can just do what I want. And technically they can. But there's going to be somebody that's going to, disregard the laws, right? Especially like the young girls coming up. They're getting hurt the most because you have Gen Alpha or young Gen Z men where they're just getting into fights with like physical fights with girls. Like it's so much more frequent now where you got young men getting into physical confrontations with girls. Because the social contract it doesn't even exist anymore. B. Waskin says Anton Daniels in his videos look very composed and very masculine, but now seeing this with Corey's feud, and now Anton looks like a bitch. Yeah. I've been looking at his videos too, where basically he's basically shaking. He can't really his head can't stay still. He's not the same. I can definitely, I've been looking at his videos. He's definitely not the same. Yo. He also goes on to say people be using the term snitch to describe anyone who calls out civilian bad behavior. But the only reason why Johnny Retro's talking about man code is because Anton Daniels brought up man code. And then the reason why he brought up snitch, because Anton literally called him a snitch. Johnny Retro has no original thoughts in his mind. Because I was like, what the hell does man code got to do with you getting called out with a woman that's not your wife? You talking about? Oh man. Facts. He said bro code is accountability. Anything else isn't real. They only, like I said that 2 streams ago, they only bring up bro code when another dude is just trying to cover themselves from they only bring up bro code is when they being foul themselves. They're cheating on their wife or their significant other, and they want somebody else, another man, to cover up for their mess. Especially nowadays, you don't have to cheat anymore if you're a man. You could literally you have these young girls now that they're basically proud to be sugar babies. You don't have to quote unquote cheat anymore. You can literally have the but these people are still being reckless. The Anton burner phone. He said he had like 3 phones. Yeah, it's probably is an Anton burner. Probably is an Anton burner. Or just another bot, but yeah. She said fanboys weak ass is 5150. Yeah, 5150 nation for life. I don't care, boy. I don't care what nobody say. 5150 nation for life. So yeah, Uncover the Truth says, yes, I am a woman. I have a hormonal imbalance or something. Who knows? LOL. I always understood men and been more comfortable with them. Honestly, I'm not emotional like the stereotypical woman. The thing is, I just want people to keep their hands to themselves. If people understood this, people would speak to each other with a bit of respect, a bit of decency. People wouldn't be surprised if they're getting their ass whooped. But in Christina Payne's case, she's taking advantage of all of that. Everything. Violating restraining orders, stalking a man that wants nothing to do with you anymore. I'll say this would be funny if Corey Holcomb came out and said, look, if there's one thing I've been lying to you about is this. I did sleep with her. I did sleep. I just didn't want to tell you because I was so ashamed that I did this. That's if Corey Holcomb comes out and says this on Tuesday, I'm gonna be laughing so hard. Because this makes no sense. Like her energy towards her energy towards Corey, it makes no sense. This relentless pursuit of a man that you're afraid of. No, this makes no sense to me. Corey must have smashed. He must have smashed, or she wanted to and he said no. Or Corey said, here goes $200 and she asked for $300 and Corey said, never mind. I don't know. I don't know what happened between them. I'm talking about, I don't know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, because she says that's how long this friction between them has lasted. Exactly. He says, look, women say they are equal to men and yabba dabba do and get violent with you, but are the first to cry if you even remotely detain them by pushing them away. I remember when I was younger and I was talking about a story how a dude had grabbed his girlfriend from a party that he was not supposed to be with. And a girl heard my story. She was like, that's abusive. I was like, what do you mean? What, he grabbed her and dragged her to the car? Well, I'm like, yeah, he didn't like drag her. He just took her arm and pulled her away in front of everybody. And she was like, that's abuse. I was like, no, that's not abuse. She lied to her boyfriend that she was not going to go to this party and she was in there. She thought it was safe because I was there and I was talking to her. He literally saw me. He was like, what's up, Chris? And then he just grabbed her and just, he wasn't even mad at me. He just saw, he saw me and then he just realized because he was there, he knew his girlfriend was there. He probably was relieved when he saw me say, oh, okay. So my girl wasn't getting fucked. He just grabbed her, took her out in front of me. I was like, and I remember when I was at the party and there was other women that were like, you just gonna watch him take her away? I'm like, well, she was not supposed to be here anyways. So I'm like, that's not abuse. But even because we even have this thing called verbal abuse. So they've really broadened the term when it comes to abuse. Because back then, when it comes to abuse, we just knew it as, okay, that's you putting a baseball bat to your broad or something like that. That it used to be very clear and cut what abuse was, but they broadened the term so much so that like you'll have a woman, she'll be like, I was in an abusive relationship. And then you'll ask her, okay, when did he put his hands on you? And they'll be like, oh, well, he didn't put his hands on me. It was a verbally abusive. I was like, oh, okay. So you see that a lot happening. So they've really broadened that term. So many of the women that have done things to basically escape them being the asshole, they're just going to say, oh, I was in an abusive relationship. But really, they were the abuser in the relationship. Yeah, keep your hands to yourself. Women are crazy too. Like, look, man, that's all. Keep your hands to yourself. And I just want the consistency. That's all. That's all. I just want consistency. So No Ego said there's a rumor that Mika is married. Is that true? Yeah, she's married. Apparently she's married. So when I found out she was married, I was like, yep, she's cheating. I was like, yep, it's confirmed. This is not first of all, a woman like that is never single. Well, hold on, let me bring up Mika. Let me bring up Mika's picture. A woman like this, a woman that looks like Mika is never single. Let me bring up her Instagram real quick. Oh man, we on OT right now, but I don't even care. My assignment was called off tonight. I told let me see, to the people that just came in on the stream, I was really supposed to do the stream in New York City on the way to a venue I was supposed to go to. I was going to be out there. I wanted to make myself look crazy out there. I was going to be on my Ticket TV-ish. Let me bring up Instagram real quick. Let me bring up Mika. Okay. Show you. No broad. Excuse me. Good Lord. Yeah, no woman looking like Mika is single. Right? So I was like, she has a boy. I know she has some kind of boyfriend back at her home. So she got somebody. She got we know this, but it's alleged that she's married, but it's interesting that she don't show her husband on there or she doesn't even show that she's married. So she on the Janae Aiko type, she'll be like married to somebody, but really she's still clout chasing. She's still trying to openly monkey branch, right? But we already know the type of chick Mika is. She a clout chaser. We know what she is. But no chick looking like this, she's always gonna have somebody. Yeah, like you said, personally, I just use the term snitching when people are at work, do it to get you in trouble, or the actual term used for the criminal activities. Yeah, I would consider if you at work with somebody and then they trying to get you in trouble, that's snitching, right? People that are really trying to get you in trouble. And you guys actually work together, or there's some sort of association, some colleagues, a colleague, somebody that and you do things together. That is actually snitching. See. Yeah. So uncover the truth. So she's 5152. She's 5150 fan too. She says that 200/300 might be close to the truth because Corey said women be mad they don't get more out of them than he gives. He always brags about giving bare minimum. So I remember he used to do the joke about, $40, but now with inflation, he's like $200, $300 now. Right. One of the funniest things I ever seen with Corey, when he was doing the comedy show in Connecticut, and he was doing his bit where he was haggling about the price with this young girl in the front row. He said, "Look, I could give you $100," and then just dur out the show. He's like, "What about $200, $300?" And then like the end of the show came, he was just like, "Okay, it's about time for the end of the show. $600." I was like, I was sitting with a couple with that show too. That was funny. Like because they didn't allow you to have like your own single seat. The couple was looking at me like they were looking at me like, "Chris, you laughing a little bit too hard at this." He's like $600. Oh man. B. Watkins says, "I still remember some Zimps try to attack a dude who pushed his crazy ex away from him. She was throwing glasses, his phone, shouting, etc. The dude pushed her, and the Zimps tried to fight him." I saw that. How about this? Because we actually covered it on Undead Chronic show. Well, sorry, I wasn't there, but I remember Undead Chronic was talking about this. Remember, it was a lady in Chicago, was a young college female. She got robbed in broad daylight, and there was a guy kind of behind her, like he was just sitting down, and he basically watched the robbery take place. And people were just so mad at him for not putting his life on the line against an armed robber. So that's where I was just like, wow. So there's really no saving the Simps. I'm talking about it was men shaming the dude for not putting his life on the line to help a lady getting robbed at gunpoint. I'm like, so he has to put his life on a line for a woman he doesn't know? So if dudes are already getting shamed for doing that, of course, if they see an edited video or an out of context video of Corey, quote unquote, muffing a woman in the face, of course they're gonna take the lady side, even though Christina Payne has a long history of scammery and criminality, and clearly you can tell by looking at her that she's a mental health case, but they don't care. They don't care. I'll give you even a better example. I'll give you guys even a better example. I'll give you even a better example. And I say this story all the time on this channel, but there might be some newcomers in here. I give this story all the time. Urban Meyer, the football coach, the former college football head coach, this is one of the dirtiest football coaches, corrupt, dirty, slimy. One of the more slimier college football head coaches in history. And he never came close to losing his job, ever. You know, the one time he came close to losing his job is when this was a male staffer under him. One of his assistant head coaches got into it in his own situation with his wife. And somehow Urban Meyer's wife found out about his assistant head coach getting into it with his wife. And it's somehow Urban Meyer was able to find out via his wife. And because he didn't do the proper necessary steps in terms of reporting the issue, he almost lost his job. I could not even believe it. I'm like, Urban Meyer's about to lose his job over this. He was about to lose his job over this. Imagine an employee of yours gets into it with his woman. And you don't even like, this is in the privacy of the employee's home, and somehow you find out, but you don't know the full information. You don't know if she put his hands on him or if they have that kind of a relationship. But Urban Meyer was about to lose his job over that. I'm talking about, this is a prominent Caucasian male college football head coach. He was about to lose his job over that. Just because he found out about it by accident. And they even asked the assistant head coach, and he said out of his mouth, he said, "Me and my girl, we have a physical relationship. We both get at it. Things happen in our relationship." But it's like they don't, it doesn't even matter. They don't even do any background research on the woman. They don't even try to look up if she has a criminal history, if she has a history of doing this to other men. They just, one of your assistants got into it with his woman. What did you do about it? Well, I barely know about it. Well, you're suspended. What? This is wild. And then they can't fathom why you got people like a Nick Fuentes and all these people. They want nothing to do with having a girl. They just can't fathom. They just can't fathom why guys like that are rising or they're gaining prominence. And this is a person that who I don't even like, but I know why he's prominent. I know. If that situation happened, it wouldn't even be a situation if that happened in the 50s. How am I supposed to get in trouble because my employee got into it with his woman? How? I didn't do anything. This is wild work. I'm sorry. That's just wild. If I'm a prominent football head coach and then like an assistant gets into it, what am I supposed to do? And he probably gave him a suspension too, but they just felt like he didn't do enough about it. I'm like, out of all the things Urban Meyer has done, you guys gonna try to fire him over this? Wow. Oh yeah, Corey Holcomb talked about that too. Corey Holcomb talked about this story. I couldn't believe it. Let me see if I don't remember the episode name, but I'll probably clip that one day. Cecilia Jackson said Anton looks like a broker, Rick Ross. Yeah. Well, really, Anton Daniels, he kind of looks like Squidward to me. Like a fat, short Squidward. That's like if Squidward was short and fat, that's what Anton Daniels looks like to me, with glasses. A fat, short Squidward. That's kind of what Anton looks like to me. And you know, what did Corey Holcomb called him? Corey Holcomb called him Futon. That's a very clever nickname as well. That's a clever nickname. Let's go on X though. Let me go on X. I hope I see some retraction soon. But yeah, I just don't like how, you know, a woman can just see. They can just see a video. People can just see a video and they just automatically think that the man is in the wrong just because he put his hands on a broad. And they don't just do it. I'm like, you gotta do some kind of background research on it. Something led up to that. If I always use the litmus test of this. I always say take Tommy Sotomayor. If Tommy Sotomayor gets slapped up, what is the average person gonna say, or the average black person gonna say? They're gonna be like, what did Tommy Sotomayor say? Right? And that's fair. But now let's apply that to everybody else. See him looking on Twitter. See, I'll type up Corey Holcomb. But yeah, the way they're framing it, because they're just saying that, oh, a comedian punching colleague. So they're just running with it. Oh, it's a punch. It's a punch. And first of all, clearly was not a punch. But I'll say this. I will say this though. I basically forgive, because women have been trying to cancel Corey. They've been trying to cancel Corey forever. So it's all good with me on my book. But I do find it interesting. A lot of these platforms, they were willing to put the video on their channel and risk their monetization to show a fight, an alleged fight with Corey Holcomb. But they'll post other videos about Corey Holcomb and then they'll edit out him cursing to save their monetization. They can act like they're not hating, but they clearly are. B. Watson says, I got to be honest, I still wonder why so many people start beef if they can't handle it. But like I said, Anton has handlers. This was a coordinated attack. And Anton didn't, complete the mission. He didn't do the mission properly. He was sent to Corey. Anton was sent to Corey. He's an agent. A lot of these people in these so-called manosphere / conservative spaces, they're agents, and they're not to be trusted. No Ego says, I have a nickname for him. I call him Tampon Daniels. That's a good one, Tampon Daniels. But I'm gonna just call him Fat Squidward. I think that's more appropriate. Fat Squidward. He looks exactly like Squidward. If like Squidward had like a round face, like say if like Squidward had like a circle face, he looks exactly like him. Zuckton Daniels. That's another good one. But yeah, I'm looking at Twitter right now. I'm not showing you my Twitter page right now. Looking at Twitter right now. Yeah, whole bunch of obviously it's just the normies, doing normie stuff. Just the normies. Let me do something else real quick. Let me do a quick YouTube search, because I've been keeping track on some of these male content creators that felt like it was their right to play the video. Because even like, bro, because people can talk about monetization, but for them, they had so much hate in their heart for Corey. They're willing to risk their monetization and show an alleged fight, knowing that could break guidelines. It can mess up their monetization. And they're like, nah, I don't care. This is my time to show that I'm morally superior. See, Corey. Even if you put it as your thumbnail, you could risk your monetization. See, punch. Yeah, of course, sodomy hype. Yeah, people putting it in their thumbnail. Oh yeah, O'Shea Duke Jackson. What a snake. What a snake. And he's been proven to be a snake many times, but I've forgiven this dude a little bit too much. Well, I'll say this: if you guys can, yeah, the Star Report. Because shout out to DJ Star. DJ Star is a real one, man. Shout out to the Star Report, man. Shout out to the Star Report. Shout out to the Star Report. Because I watched the live stream of the Star Report, and he wasn't buying it. He wasn't buying it. Shout out to the Star Report. Oh, let me not, because I know Star don't play that. He'll put a strike on your channel if you play his content. So shout out to Star. Shout out to Star, man. He was right on it. He was right on it. But yeah, there's a lot of these dudes out here willing to risk their monetization to show some nonsense. I used to think Corey, you know what? I'm gonna give yeah, he said Star Report be barking on everyone that call. Oh, you watch a Star Report too? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Star man, DJ Star, that's my guy. He said, she said, what's your Twitter? Well, I don't have an official Twitter. I gotta actually set up a Twitter to make sure, it's, I'm doing it the correct way. But eventually, because I only have my regular Twitter. I have to be careful about that, though. I have to be careful about that because there's a lot of the people that I look up to, they have their Twitter and their YouTube linked, and they'll say their opinion on Twitter, and then you'll have these people on Twitter. They will mass report your YouTube channel and get your YouTube banned, get strikes on your channel. I already have a couple of bugs on my channel because I already have a strike off of a video I did like 2 years ago. Like I got like a strike like 10 months later from a video that I did. So I already have bugs on my channel. So I already got to watch out. So I can't link my Twitter and my YouTube because there's this guy called Undead Chronic. He'll be roasting people on Twitter, and they will. I know what they do. They go on his YouTube and then they mass report his channel, or they mass report his Twitter account. So I gotta be careful about that. He said, yeah, Star Reporter be barking on everyone that call. I ain't watch his point of view on it yet. You gotta watch. You're gonna see me in the live chat because I was going in. I was saying the F word. I was saying the Hispanic woman that called in on the show. I was saying that I'm gonna call ICE on her. I was going crazy in the chat. Just to give you a heads up. Just to give you a heads up. Oh yeah, I was using all types of racial slurs in there. I was going crazy in the chat. I was going in. I was letting loose in that live chat. So don't be shocked at what you see in there if you go and watch the Star Report, the live chat replay. Don't be shocked at what you see. I'm just giving you a heads up. B. Watkins says people can't handle the Undead Chronic style. No, they're not ready. They're not ready. He said this. She said this issue is hilarious. That said, Undead Chronic has become too infamous between the cucks, zimps, and grifters. It's rare to see anyone big call him out. And Chronic is right. It's interesting when he does the Andrew Wilson stuff, I don't see none of these people invading his chat. These Andrew Wilson fanboys, they only target smaller channels like mine. These guys are hoes. I'm like, first of all, how the hell does Rachel Wilson / Andrew Wilson's personal trainer, they find my how does their fitness trainer find my channel? How? But they don't find Chronics. They don't find none of these other people. And people will be like, well, Chris, you're monetized. But still, my reach is not as big as his. Nah. Nah. The people that was in that live chat when I was talking about Andrew Wilson, that shit makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense. Said dudes like Bomber Guy, ContraPoints wouldn't call out Undead Chronic due to the fact they know he can argue with them and not fall into the conservatives' antics. Oh, so No Ego, you know about the Andrew Wilson nonsense. He said Andrew Wilson married a woman with like 20 kids. Yep, that one. I was looking at these people in the chat that was invading the chat. I could not believe it. For me to even have to explain why I have a problem with Andrew Wilson is that's just crazy. They were playing dumb in the chat too. What did Andrew Wilson do? You're lying. They called me a liar. It was everything under the sun. It went from I was lying, I don't know what I'm talking about, to then it moved to, well, it ain't too bad. What? No, hell no. Hell no. No way. This is also the war band is more active in Chronic's regular videos, so we do make fun of any Zimps. Yeah, this is true. This is true. He said the dude is racist. Also, him and that Brian from the whatever podcast. That is true. We got to keep it a buck. They're not Have you ever seen Rampage Jackson? He did a video. He was trying to pick up that white girl on the waitress, the white girl that was the waitress. That was one of the funniest videos I've ever seen too. He goes up to the bar. He's like, "Do you?" He tells the white girl, "Do you like N-words?" He said the full ER. I was laughing so hard, man. Should I play that video? Nah, I'm not gonna play it. I ain't gonna play it. He goes, "Do you like N-words? Do you like ninjas?" But he used the hard ER in front of everybody. I'm like, what kind of I was like, what kind of pickup line is that? But I guess when you're like I said, when you're Rampage Jackson, you can use whatever line you want. You can basically do whatever you want. B. Watkins says Andrew Wilson, like Andrew Tate, project an image of themselves which is idealized, when in reality how they got there is not by how they said it was. Yeah, Andrew Wilson, Tate, these guys are frauds. But with Andrew Wilson, it's worse with him, because he does a lot of grifting. He likes to LARP in the male content creation space, but then at the same time, he's saying that he'll say at the side of his mouth that the red pill or all these things is just it's just as degenerate as we're just as degenerate degenerate, whatever the term is. what's the term? We're just as big degenerates as the liberals. And I'm like, how is that even possible? That he can say something like this and still have fans in this space. That's crazy. He'll go on to whatever podcast calling women all types of 304s, and how, he'll even talk about them being single moms and all of that. Meanwhile, he married, mind you, Andrew Wilson had no kids at that time, but he married a woman with 3 kids from 2 different dudes. And particularly when you're talking about that debate with him and Coach Greg Adams, and I looked at Andrew Wilson's fan base, that really told me everything I needed to know about Andrew Wilson's fan base. They said that Coach Greg Adams was the degenerate. He was they were calling Coach Greg Adams a liberal. I was like, what? Meanwhile, Coach Greg Adams, he married his wife. Both of his kids is by his wife. He got divorced and then just stood on paying for prostitutes for the rest of his life, rest of his single life, and he just stands on it. I can't hate on that. Can't hate on that. At least he's being honest about what he is. Unlike Andrew Wilson. But don't get me started on that guy. Oh, yeah, I remember that situation. He said, Rampage is a fool. Some of that stuff is cringe, but still entertaining. Rampage is, he's wild. But anyways, it's 8:25. I've done too much. I got to practice. Actually, I got to practice. Let me see if I missed any starred comments. Oh yeah, guys, thank you for the super chats today. Aaron Hughes 727, thank you for the two $20 super chats. Gold 7 for the $5 super chat. I'm subscribed to your channel now. Keep it a buck, man. Shout out, Uncover Truth. I'm always shout out to anybody that's 5150 Nation and Warband. Anybody that's Warband, 5150 Nation is always welcome on my channel. So thank you guys. Thank you for the support. But I always say this, even, shout out to the Warband, but it's always going to be 5150 for life. Warband members are always welcome. Always trust me on that. Right. But 5150 Nation, that platform means, that show means a lot to me. So, shout out to Corey Holcomb. I expected a little bit more loyalty from some of these male content creators, to one of the pioneers of, speaking your mind really in this modern world that we have, where there's real consequences for speaking your mind, financial consequences. I would have thought the men would give him a little bit of grace and try to see his side of the story or do their research before they shit on him. But it is what it is. Lorette Hamilton is right. In this economy, there's no loyalty. Lorette gives me another gem. Shout out to Lorette Hamilton. She was in earlier in the chat. Shout out to Lorette Hamilton. She's right again. Just in this economy, there's no loyalty. It is what it is. So shout out to you guys, man. Oh man. Thank you. He said the issue is a lot of these male content creators are traditional simps. Yeah, they're all simps. It's too much simping I've been seeing on the conservative side. Too much simping. There should be no reason why you have somebody like the amazing Lucas and other liberal left-leaning men alike I've seen, or people that are like left-leaning, not necessarily apolitical, but left-leaning. They were like, isn't this is old news? Or other left-leaning individuals that at least waited 2 days. just wait a couple of days to get the facts out. It's okay. They all want to look good in front of their woman. I wish I could tell these guys it's okay to speak your mind. It doesn't mean you hate women. It really doesn't. But there's no convincing simps. Shout out to you guys. Peace out. I am going to leave this stream out before I say something that I regret with this clip. Thank you guys.
Go on.
No, I sense I've made a mistake of some kind.